Chapter 1199. Whoosh. With a thought, Xia Ping entered the virtual network and arrived at a virtual space. The virtual space could be set to whatever he wanted. Xia Ping had set this virtual space as a living room with a sofa, a coffee table, a television, and so on. The decorations were very fashionable. Following this, another figure appeared in the space. Xia Ping took a closer look and realized that this person was 2 meters tall and very fat. He looked like he weighed a ton. He had horns on his head and a pig nose. He wore a black suit and a red tie. He wore gold-rimmed glasses and looked like a cunning businessman. He could tell at a glance that this was a pig demon. However, this was nothing in the universe. The human race and the demon race had been living together for a long time. There were all kinds of races, so it was not surprising. Mr. Wu, you are finally willing to communicate with me. That's great. Nice to meet you. My name is Germa. I am the person in charge of the Universe Book Media Company in the Flowing Cloud Star region. Germa smiled and introduced himself, looking very friendly. Let's cut to the chase. I am a very direct person. What do you want from me? Xia Ping asked straightforwardly. Germa nodded. Mr. Wu, you are indeed a straightforward person. I will be straightforward. The reason why I am looking for you is that I want you to write a book about scams. According to your current reputation, if you can write such a book, it will definitely sell well. His eyes flashed with the cunning light of a businessman. To be honest, he was interested in Xia Ping's reputation. It did not matter if it was a bad reputation or a good one. Anyway, if everyone knew about it, it would be profitable. Just like a celebrity, he had great fame and many fans. However, fame alone was not enough. No matter how good one's fame was, it could not be used to make a living. Therefore, one had to cash in one's fame. Publishing a book was a way to cash in one's fame. Xia Ping also knew that in his previous life on Earth, many celebrities would choose to publish books, autobiographies, or scandals. They would then find someone to write it for them. It did not matter if the book was good or not. In short, with the celebrity's fame, it could attract the public's interest and attract the interest of fans. Such a book would definitely sell and make a lot of money. In the past, the most famous person on Earth who published books was the President of the United States. Once the President left office, he would definitely publish a book and write an autobiography. Such a famous person could earn tens of millions of dollars. This was an income that ordinary people could never earn in their entire lives. Obviously, Gilma had taken a fancy to Xia Ping's recent reputation in the Flowing Cloud Galaxy. That was why he wanted to cooperate with Xia Ping. He wanted to take advantage of this momentum and make a fortune. To put it crudely, with fame, even if you wrote a bunch of nonsense, there would still be many people who would buy it. Publish a book? Interesting, tell me more about it. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He didn't mind Germa's intentions at all. Those who didn't have any value were basically useless. In this world, if I'm not using you, then you're using me. In short, this would bring him a large amount of universe coins, which was the most practical thing. Seeing that Xia Ping seemed to be interested, Germa immediately said, "That's right, publishing a book. Of course, if you don't know how to write, our company also has many outstanding writers. They can all help you write. We can sign a profit-sharing agreement with you. If you sell it, you can get 30% of the profit." He stretched out 3 fingers. Obviously, he didn't care whether Xia Ping had the ability to write or not. He just wanted to use Xia Ping's fame to make a fortune, 30% of the profit. Xia Ping looked at Germa with a faint smile. Using my fame to make money, and only giving me 30%? Isn't that a bit too much? At least 90%. Mr. Wu, you're the one who's going too far. Germa screamed. Our company is responsible for helping with publicity and opening up sales channels. We also have to find someone to write for us, go through editing, typesetting, and so on. All of this costs money, and the cost is outrageous. You didn't do anything, and you want to take 90%? Do you want us to starve? That's impossible. There's no room for negotiation. Xia Ping shook his head. I don't need to find someone to write for me. I can write it myself. Also, without my fame, without the celebrity effect, you probably won't be able to make money. 90% is still too high. 50% at most. Any more and it won't do. Germa shook his head. He couldn't accept such a profit-sharing ratio at all. If they could only get 10%, how could they make money? Wouldn't they be working for the other party? Also, as the person in charge of the Universe Book Media Company in the Flowing Cloud Star region, he had to make a profit every year. If he couldn't make a profit, he would probably be demoted or even punished. Of course, if he did well, he would receive praise from the head office. He might even be able to enter the head office and take up a position, rising to the top in a single bound. This was the highest goal of every person in charge of a branch company, 70%. Xia Ping looked at Germa. I need at least 70% of the profit. Any lower and I won't be able to do anything. I can only give up on working with you. He also wanted to take all the profits, but that was impossible. The so-called working together meant that everyone would only work together if there were benefits. Otherwise, only a fool would work together with you. 70% was his bottom line. Of course, I'm not making things difficult for you. If this book doesn't sell in the tens of millions, I won't take a single cent. Xia Ping could sign a VAM agreement with the other party. Tens of millions of sales. Germa was instantly shocked. One must know that in this era, ordinary books basically didn't have much sales. Most of the best-selling books were martial arts secret manuals, which could make people stronger. However, these martial arts secret manuals were controlled by many saint-level sects, and they were not qualified to get a share of the profits. Therefore, if one wanted to sell in the tens of millions of copies, it had to be a popular book of the year. He had been the person in charge of the Flowing Cloud Star Field branch company for decades, but he had not published many such books. Although Wu Wuti was indeed a little famous in the Flowing Cloud Star Field and several other major star fields, would tens of millions of people really buy a book like this? According to his estimation, it would be considered good if it sold in the millions, which had already exceeded his expectations. If it sold in the tens of millions of copies, it would really be possible only if a miracle happened. Alright, since Mr. Wu is so confident, I naturally won't refuse. Thinking of this, Germa immediately decided to agree to Xia Ping's conditions. If it didn't sell in the tens of millions of copies, then he didn't need to pay a single cent. This was like getting something without risking anything. Even if it really reached the tens of millions of copies, he wouldn't lose out. No matter how he looked at it, this was an extremely cost-effective deal, and there was no reason to refuse. Alright, then let's sign the contract. Xia Ping smiled slightly. Germa acted swiftly and decisively. To avoid any undue delay, he immediately ordered his secretary to quickly draw up a contract. Corinne used his many years of experience to carefully examine it and felt that there was no problem with the contract. It was very fair, and the other party didn't play any tricks, so it could be signed. Therefore, Xia Ping and Germa signed the contract. But Mr. Wu, how do you plan to write it? Germa asked curiously. After all, fame was only auxiliary. The content of the book was the most important. If the quality of the book was not good, it would be impossible to reach tens of millions of copies. After all, not all people were fools. Chapter 1200. A few days later. Xia Ping contacted Germa again. After spending 3 days, he had finally finished writing the Encyclopedia of Deception. 36 Stratagems of Deception. When Germa saw the name of the book, he could not help but be stunned. Is this the masterpiece written by Wu Wuti? To be honest, he was not very optimistic about Wu Wuti's book. After all, he was an old fox who had been immersed in this field for hundreds of years. He had seen all kinds of authors and all kinds of books. He knew very well what it meant to be a world apart. Although this kid had some achievements in the world of deception, it did not mean that he could write a good book. These were two different fields. However, he did not immediately criticize it. He wanted to take a good look at what was written before deciding. If it really did not make sense, he would still suggest that the kid use a gunman. No matter what, he could not screw up this big deal. When he opened the book, he immediately saw a clear title. The First Stratagem of Deception, Beauty Trap. Good heavens! Germa was stunned because it described in detail how to use a beauty to deceive others. As the saying went, seduction is like a knife on top of your head. The ancients had also said that seduction was the root of human nature. Perhaps some ascetics could get rid of it, but most life forms could not. The beauty trap was a method of deceiving people using this instinct. For example, it used some men's desire to hunt for women as the source. To put it simply, it was love. How could a normal man resist a beautiful woman throwing herself at him? Hence, when the beauty brought the man somewhere and was about to do something shameful, the beauty's accomplice would suddenly appear in front of him. In order to not let the matter spread, or to protect himself, the seductive man would give his money to the pair of accomplices, and they would achieve the goal of extortion. Of course, this was just a low-level use of the beauty trap. What was even more impressive was that the beauty found a very rich old man and threw herself at him. Then, she quickly married him. In less than half a year, the beauty found an opportunity to divorce the other party. In the end, according to the marriage law, half of the property was given away. At that time, both the person and the money were gone. If the other party was even more ruthless, he could secretly poison the other party to death. When that happened, all the property would be hers. This was a scam. Not only did she want money, but she also wanted his life. Amazing. Germa had goosebumps all over his body. He had never thought that there would be such a sinister scheme in this world. If that was the case, would the word of those beautiful women still exist in this world? Don't tell me they're here for my money. He asked himself, if a beautiful woman suddenly threw herself into his arms, as a healthy man, he wouldn't be able to resist. He wouldn't be able to control his lower body at all. However, if he did that, he would fall into someone else's trap. When the time came, he would lose both his money and his life. Suddenly, he felt that the world was full of evil, and the basic trust between people was gone. The 16th trick of deception. Guillermo continued to watch. If he wanted to achieve his goal of deception, he could not be overbearing and take advantage of the other party's arrogance. He had to first give the other party some benefits to make the other party lower their guard. After gaining the other party's trust, he would then proceed to deceive them. This was usually successful in every endeavor. It was like the financial pyramid scheme in today's society. Some fund managers would brag that as long as one invested in their fund, they could earn 5% interest every month. They could earn 60% in a year and double it in 2 years. They could buy a house in 3 years and buy a plane in 4 years. At first, some people didn't believe it. However, when the first month's interest was received, the second month's interest was received, and the third month's interest was also received. Slowly, people started to believe it. At that time, not only did he invest, but he also pulled his family and friends to invest. He was completely crazy and fell into the dream of realizing his wealth freedom in 2 years and buying a car and a house. Little did he know that a few months later, the scammer would have already closed the net and run away with all the money. Back then, you were interested in the interest, but the scammer was interested in your capital. At that time, it was too late for you to cry. This was the brilliance of playing hard to get. This kind of human greed had always been present since ancient times. It had never changed and would always appear. The 34th trick of deception, the trick of injuring oneself to gain sympathy. Guillermo continued to watch. This trick was very simple. It was to deliberately use a tragic experience to gain sympathy from others. The simpler way was to become a beggar, using their handicapped body and tragic experience to gain sympathy from others. In this way, they would receive a large amount of money. During festivals, such people would often appear on the streets and alleys. The more complicated way was to set up a welfare fund. With the excuse of helping the many people in difficulty, they would raise funds from the public and hope that rich people from all walks of life would donate. When the money entered their pockets, what they wanted to do was their internal affairs. No one would know. Brilliant. This is really brilliant. Guillermo felt chills all over his body. Cold sweat appeared on his forehead. This was not as simple as a book. It directly pointed out the weaknesses of human nature. The whole book showed the common characteristics of life: arrogance, jealousy, greed, gluttony, rage, reaping without sowing, lust, and so on. In fact, the so-called deception was a method of using human weakness to deceive others. Master, you really are a master. Guillermo was full of admiration. Without years of experience in deceiving, grandmaster-like methods, and demon-like wisdom, how could one write such a book? This was no longer as simple as a book. It was basically a work of art, a masterpiece. Previously, he had looked down on the other party and thought that he could not write anything. But now that he looked at it, how could the gunman under him compare? Every line and column contained a broad and profound theory of deception. It made one's whole body tremble. You're too polite. It's not worth mentioning. It's just some insignificant advantages. Xia Ping said modestly. The reason why he could write this book was because he stood on the shoulders of giants. He had the shocking works from his previous life. It was the basis of the 36 stratagems of the military. In fact, the 36 stratagems were not as simple as military thinking. They could be raised to the height of philosophy. They were suitable for all walks of life. In his previous life, many big shots treated it as a treasure book. Every time they read it, they would receive great inspiration. Applying this kind of thinking to trickery was just a small test of his abilities. Master, you can't be deceiving me now, right? Are you eyeing the shares of our Universe Book Media Company? To be honest, I don't have much money on me. I'm so poor that my pants are falling off. Please don't set your sights on me. Guillermo looked at Xia Ping guiltily. After reading this book, he respected Xia Ping as if he was a god. This guy was definitely a master in the world of deceiving, the kind that had reached perfection. Maybe with just a few words, he would be able to deceive him completely. To be honest, staying together with such a super swindler gave him great psychological pressure. Only now did he feel afraid. What kind of terrifying person was he staying together with? His identity as the person in charge of the Universe Book Media Company in the Flowing Cloud Star region did not give him a sense of security. On the contrary, a person like him would be targeted by a swindler. After all, which swindler would target a poor person? Chapter 1201. Don't worry, I'm a man of principle. I won't lie to just anyone. Xia Ping patted his chest to show that he was a man of principle. Thank you, I'm relieved. The corner of Germa's mouth twitched. He did not know why, but at the same time, he felt a little aggrieved. If that was the case, he would not even have the value of being deceived. But no matter what, at least he did not have to worry about being deceived until he had nothing left. But what should we do next? Germa humbly asked for Xia Ping's opinion. Now that Xia Ping was his leader, he really did not dare to offend such a powerful person. Let's hold a press conference. Publishing a book has to be done with great fanfare. Otherwise, how would people know? This is not the era where good wine fears no dark alley. Without publicity, who would know what you're doing? Xia Ping said with a smile. Press conference? Germa's expression was strange. A scammer holding a press conference was too high profile. However, this coincided with his thoughts. If he wanted to sell more books, he naturally had to publicize it. Moreover, he had to publicize it vigorously. "What's the price of this book?" Germa asked. $100 per book, Xiaoping replied casually. What? Germa was shocked. Ordinary books were only $5 per book, and the more expensive ones were only $10 to $20. $100 per book was too much. He was about to ask who would buy such an expensive book, but after thinking about it carefully, the value of this book was astonishing. It could be said to be a comprehensive collection of scams. If it was carefully studied by a dedicated person, he would definitely gain a lot. The ideological value contained in it was more than $100. Books had a price, but knowledge was priceless. Okay, I got it. Germa immediately swallowed all the words in his stomach. Then, he went back and began to arrange for people to hold a press conference and various publicity activities. One day later, the news of the great swindler Wu Wudi's plan to hold a press conference and even plan to publish a book spread throughout the 5 major star fields ruled by the Soaring Cloud sect. Most people knew about it. In particular, the people of the virtual city, Far East City, were shocked because the location of the press conference was in a luxurious restaurant in Far East City. At that time, many news reporters and readers would be invited to attend. Fuck his 18 generations of ancestors. That damned liar actually dared to show up, and he even held a press conference so brazenly and shamelessly. Why doesn't he just die? A person from the Far East City immediately cursed, and his face turned green with anger. As someone who had been cheated by Xiaoping of tens of thousands of universe dollars, he wanted to catch Xiaoping and beat him up. I thought that bastard had already disappeared without a trace after cheating so much money. I didn't expect him to show up again and even want to publish a book. Someone gritted his teeth. Fuck, what kind of book does he want to publish? Is he trying to expose the inside story of how he cheated us of our hard-earned money? He was so angry that his teeth itched. Not only had this damned Wu Wudi cheated them of so much money, but now he wanted to sprinkle salt on their wounds and build his own happiness on their pain. He even wanted to use this matter to make a lot of money. This fellow had raised the method of making money to the level of art. He was completely making money through the holes. He was shameless to the extreme. We definitely won't allow him to publish a book. Someone roared, he cheated us of so much money, and now he wants to publish a book to make money. He wants to become an author and completely clear his name. Is there such a good thing in this world? As a liar, he actually dares to be so high profile. He's too arrogant. Does he think that we, the victims, are made of mud? Does he really think that no one can do anything to him? He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He thought that he would hear news about Wu Wudi again because this bastard liar had been arrested. He did not expect that this kid was planning to publish a book and even wanted to hold a press conference. With such an appearance, he looked like a big star. He even invited news reporters and television reporters to interview him. What kind of liar would be as high-profile and arrogant as him? He wanted nothing more than to catch Xiaoping and give him a good beating for trying to make a fortune. Hold a bullshit press conference. If he dares to come, we'll smash the venue. That's right. This kid is simply too arrogant. He even dares to appear in Far East City. Brothers and sisters, he doesn't take us, the angry masses, seriously. This liar is extremely arrogant. If we don't teach him a lesson this time, we'll be idiots. Yes, we have to destroy his press conference. If we have the chance, we'll catch him and make him spit out all the money. Many people shouted, and there was a sense of surging public sentiment. But this is a city in the virtual world, and it's also a safe zone. We can't do anything to him at all. If things get out of hand, we'll be the unlucky ones. Someone said helplessly. If it were in the real world, they could totally go to his door and look for trouble, smashing, and robbing. The problem was that this was the virtual world, and there were unique rules. There was no way to cause trouble. They would be immediately chased out by the rules, and they might even be punished by not being able to log in. It could be said that that bastard Wu Wuti was simply fearless. He had already calculated this point. Everyone, this damn liar suddenly appeared, but he's so high profile. Is he plotting something? Is he planning something bad again? Is he planning a shocking scam to lure us into it? Someone said warily. He was afraid of Xia Ping's scheme. It was really like being bitten once, afraid of ropes for 3 years. What are you afraid of? As long as he doesn't pay, we don't have to worry about losses. That's right. This time, we have to be more vigilant. He can't possibly deceive us. We've been tricked once, and he wants us to be tricked a second time. He's simply dreaming. This time, let's see what tricks this kid has up his sleeve. Everyone gritted their teeth. They had already decided that they had to cause trouble at the press conference and ruin this bastard's plan. Only then could they vent their anger. At this moment, Yi Mengyao also heard the news. What? That swindler has appeared again. After hearing the news, Yi Mengyao was shocked. Previously, she had been tracking Wu Wuti's whereabouts, but she had not found any clues. She was afraid that Wu Wuti would disappear without a trace. She did not expect this bastard to be so arrogant. He actually dared to hold a press conference, and even set the venue in Far East City. Chapter 1202. A day later, on the 3rd floor of the White Cloud restaurant in Far East City. At this moment, countless reporters and victims heard the news and gathered at this place. They basically surrounded the restaurant so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. There were 3 floors inside and 3 floors outside. It's so lively. I didn't expect this kid to have such a big influence. Lively my ass. We're all here to educate this bastard. I haven't seen him for a few months, and now he's finally showing his face. How can we let him off this time? Everyone gritted their teeth and stared at the stage of the book launch. Unlike the people in Far East City, many of the reporters present were looking forward to it. It seemed that there would be big news today. They swarmed over like sharks that smelled blood. No one liked to blow things up more than they did. Wu Wuti is coming out. Someone yelled. Suddenly, they saw Wu Wuti coming out from behind the stage, followed by a large group of bodyguards in black suits. He was like an influential figure, walking majestically and looking dignified. Snap, snap! Countless reporters immediately took photos and froze the scene. Far East City was furious. He was just a swindler. Why was he pretending here? Did he not have any shame? This guy was so thick-skinned that even a Star Destroyer cannon could not penetrate him. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending my book launch. Xia Ping waved his hand, showing the demeanor of a big star. Thank you. We're all here to cause trouble. Many people gritted their teeth and stared at Xia Ping. However, they were in Far East City, in the virtual world, so they did not dare to act rashly. Mr. Wu, may I know the name of the new book you're going to release this time? A reporter immediately asked. Xia Ping said, it's called 36 Stratagems of Deception. This book mainly describes all kinds of deception in the world. All of them are based on my own experience. The content is rich. I believe that everyone will definitely get their money's worth if they buy it. 36 Stratagems of Deception. The group of people's faces turned green. It was one thing for this bastard to be a swindler, but now he wanted to publish a book. Did he want to teach more swindlers? What was this guy thinking? How much did this bastard want to corrupt society before he gave up? Was he afraid that there were not enough swindlers in the world, so he wanted to cultivate a batch of them? Of course, the purpose of this book is not to teach everyone how to cheat, but to use this book to expose the scams in this world, so that everyone can be on their guard. Xia Ping said carelessly, it can be said that from another point of view, this is actually a treasure book to prevent people from being deceived. It lets everyone know the dangers of the world. To be honest, I'm worried about this era where trust between people has reached a freezing point. Even the most basic trust is gone. There are scams everywhere, all aimed at the money in your wallet. I hope that after this book is published, it can change the status quo of this society and reduce the losses of everyone. This can also be considered my contribution to this book. He had a compassionate look on his face, expressing that he was not publishing this book to make money, but purely to do good deeds and to save this hopeless society. Bullshit. Everyone wanted nothing more than to bite this bastard to death. Did he still have any shame? The person who had the least right to say such words was this bastard. Who was the one who had scammed millions of people in Far East City and earned more than $1 billion US? Now he had the nerve to say that the basic trust between people was gone. If it weren't for the fact that there were too many bastards like him, how could this have happened? The most infuriating thing was that the previous matter had not been resolved yet, and now Wu Woody had changed from a swindler to a master of deception. He wanted to move from the dark world to the bright stage, making himself seem like a righteous messenger. He was really shameless to the extreme. Did he know what etiquette and shame were? Did he have any sense of shame? I wonder how much this book costs. A reporter asked. Xia Ping said with a smile, "That's a good question. The price is not particularly expensive. You can buy one book for $100 US. If you buy a lot, you can even get a 9% discount." He gave a discount. Fuck, $100 US, this was clearly daylight robbery. A group of people looked at Xia Ping in disdain. He had just said that he did not publish the book to make money. What was going on now? $100 for such a lousy book. If this was not daylight robbery, what was? Even martial arts secret manuals in this universe were at most a few dozen $, but a secret manual about deception cost $100. If this was not daylight robbery, what was? He even said that he could get a discount if he bought a lot, and he even said that he could get a 9% discount. What was the use of this little discount? It was the same as not having it. This guy was simply stingy to the extreme. But then again, even if there was a discount, they would not buy this swindler's book even if they were beaten to death. They would let this fellow starve and not let him earn a single cent. At this moment, someone in the audience shouted loudly, "Thank you, Mr. Wu. I didn't expect that in this materialistic society, there would be a good person like Mr. Wu who would stand up and wave the flag for social morality. It's really touching. I've decided to buy 100 books this time as a form of support for Mr. Wu." Tears streamed down his face as if he was deeply moved. Although I haven't read it yet, I know that Mr. Wu's book is definitely extraordinary. It's worth it. What's $100 US? It's just the money for a meal. That's right. Although my monthly salary is only $2,000 US, I've decided to take out $1,500 US to buy 15 books to support Mr. Wu. The remaining $500 US will be used to pay for rent, and I'll live on instant noodles for this month. It seems like life is a little hard, but it's worth it to support Mr. Wu. Everyone, don't stop me. I want to buy 100 books. If you stop me, I'll fight it out with you. Suddenly, some people stood up and waved the flag, shouting at the top of their lungs. They said that even if they did not eat, they would buy books to support Wu Woody and contribute to society. Fuck, scammers, they were all scammers. Many people's faces turned green. This fellow was still acting cool earlier, saying that he would turn over a new leaf in the future, that he would no longer cheat, and that he would start to become a master of fraud prevention. What was going on now? He found a bunch of scammers. Moreover, it was obvious to anyone with a discerning eye that these scammers were here to wave the flag and shout for him. Was he shameless? I didn't expect everyone to be so enthusiastic. Don't worry, everyone. I've already prepared a lot of books. There's no need to queue up. Everyone can log on to this website and choose to buy directly. It doesn't matter if it's a real book or an electronic book. Chapter 1203. The book conference ended very quickly, but what happened here quickly spread throughout the 5-star fields ruled by the Soaring Cloud sect. One by one, the reporters published the news. The return of the prodigal son. The path of redemption for the great swindler Wu Wuti. The 36 stratagems of deception. Is it a treasure book to prevent deception or a treasure book to deceive people? What do you think? Explosive sales. Someone ordered 100 copies at the new book conference. He would rather eat dirt to buy a book. What kind of charm does it have? The news headlines were published and spread to thousands of households. It even made the headlines, so that everyone in the 5-star fields knew about it. It caused an uproar. There was also the help of the Universe Book Media Company. They had long mastered this kind of publicity. They had mastered many publicity channels and had deep cooperation with major media outlets. Therefore, the news spread and became the headline of the day. The moral degeneration of the world is getting worse and worse. In this day and age, even swindlers have started to write books. Is there any justice in this world? Why hasn't the police arrested this bastard yet? Didn't they say that he cheated people of more than $1 billion universe dollars? Fuck, this guy is a swindler. He's actually pretending to be a master of deception here. It's simply bullshit. He's definitely up to no good again. Everyone, don't believe him. What kind of bullshit book is this? I'd never buy it even if you beat me to death. That's right. Everyone, don't buy this swindler's book. Let him lose everything and teach him a painful lesson. Spread this news. If we buy this swindler's book, we're all inhumane. Many people were furious when they heard the news. They were simply furious. It was fine if they didn't arrest this guy and lock him up for decades. He actually came out to stir up trouble, become a writer, and even published a book. He even wanted to take the opportunity to make a fortune. How could they accept such a thing, especially those people from Far East City? They wanted to catch Xia Ping and beat him up. He still wanted them to buy his book. It was simply wishful thinking. Things are a little troublesome. At this time, Germa realized that the situation was getting worse. In order to stop Xia Ping's book from becoming popular, the group of people from Far East City immediately used all kinds of means to obstruct it. Some people were still spreading the news, calling for the masses to boycott Xia Ping's books. They would rather eat sex than buy this scammer's books, lest they continue to be poisoned by Wu Wuti. In an instant, this group of people established the Invincible Alliance against martial arts. If this were to continue, it would be wishful thinking for the books to reach 10 million sales. It's fine. Let this group of people continue to jump. The more they jump, the more the news will spread. This is exactly what I want. Xia Ping touched his chin. He felt that this was a huge opportunity. Crises could often turn into opportunities. What do you want to do? Germa asked curiously. Xia Ping said with a smile, of course it's to muddy the water and continue to hype it up. When it came to creating hype, he was a master at it. There were probably not many people who could compare to him. Thinking of this, he immediately ordered Germa's subordinates to register many sock puppets and spread the news on the internet. Everyone is condemning Wu Wuti, but I have a different opinion. One of the sock puppets wrote a post. Yes, Wu Wuti has made mistakes in the past. Perhaps he has unintentionally hurt many people, but who is innocent? Who can guarantee that they did not make mistakes? The most important thing is to have the determination to correct after making a mistake. That is the prodigal son who has turned over a new leaf. You can't just kill a person after making a mistake and never be able to turn over a new leaf in this life, right? Now, Wu Wuti knows that he was wrong. He knows that it's wrong to deceive people, so he used his years of experience to write a compendium of deceit to prevent more people from falling for it. This is a good deed of great virtue. But everyone is actually calling for the death of a person who has turned over a new leaf, a person who is determined to do good. I think this is a little unreasonable. Xia Ping's sock puppets wrote a bunch of content, constantly trying to clear his name. That's right, the original poster has spoken my mind. Finally, a sensible person has come out to speak up for justice. In fact, I also think that group of people are crazy. They bite everyone they see. They just published a book. If they want to buy it, they don't buy it. If they don't want to buy it, they don't buy it. This is a free trade. Why are they acting like a cult to stop others? I think there's something wrong with those people's brains. That's right. Who do they think they are? God? What right do they have to stop us? Several sock puppets were flattering and constantly attacking others. Many people felt the same way when they saw this message. After all, in the 5 major star fields, there were very few people who had been deceived by Xia Ping. At most, there were only 1 million people, like a drop in the ocean. Therefore, they did not feel the pain that the people from Far East City felt. Naturally, they could not empathize with them. Instead, they felt that this group of people was crazy to go around slandering Wu Wudi. If no one had said this, they would not have felt anything. However, with someone taking the lead to attack, they immediately seemed to have found their backbone and gathered together. Hearing these words, the people from Far East City were furious. Internet Water Army, these are all fucking Wu Wudi's Internet Water Army. Everyone, don't believe their words. Don't be led astray by them. What prodigal son? That's bullshit. To put it bluntly, can a dog change its mind? The reason why he published a book is not to turn over a new leaf, nor is it to do good deeds. It's purely to earn money. That's right, that's right. If a swindler like him is not punished and becomes a celebrity, he will become a master. In the long run, there will be no justice in this society. If the prodigal son really turns over a new leaf, he will return the money. Ask that bastard to return the money to us. If that's the case, we will believe him and definitely not obstruct him again. The people of Far East City were furious and kept refuting the words of those sock puppets. They felt that there was clearly an Internet Water Army trying to change the direction of public opinion. Moreover, their methods were extremely clever. It's impossible to return the money. Don't even think about returning it in this lifetime. He cheated the money with his own ability. Why should he return it? That's right. As the saying goes, once stung, one gains wisdom. Who told you to be stupid? Otherwise, why would you be deceived? That's right, that's right. This is the so-called IQ tax. If you pay it now, you won't be deceived in the future. From a certain point of view, you have to thank Wu Wudi. Otherwise, you don't know how much loss you will suffer in the future. You're stupid and you're blaming others. Do you have to blame the planet for not having gravity if you can't pull out SI? Several sock puppets said disdainfully and mockingly. What? When the people of Far East City heard these words, they were furious. Their lungs almost exploded as they retorted frantically. Increase the power of the promotion. Invite famous people from all walks of life to comment on this book. Germa immediately ordered his subordinates to increase the promotion of the book. He even asked celebrities from all walks of life to promote the book. He believed that with the help of these celebrities, the reputation of the book would definitely rise to another level. This was just the beginning. When the people of Far East City heard this news, they immediately felt despair. They had clearly spent a lot of effort to stop this book from selling well, but they didn't expect that in just one day, the number of sales would exceed 1 million. This caused them to be extremely shocked. How is this possible? Why did this happen? Didn't I request to boycott this book? Why are there still so many people buying? Immediately, someone shouted in grief and indignation, moreover, a book costs $100 US. Spending so much money to buy a scammer's book, how can there be so many idiots in the world? He simply could not understand. Even if they hadn't stopped him, it would be normal for such an expensive book not to be bought. However, this situation had happened. It was too unbelievable. Big brother, I secretly bought this book and read it carefully. It's normal for this book to sell well. It's well deserved. That bastard is really capable. Someone sighed and said, after reading this book, I realized that this world is full of scams. If you're greedy, you'll definitely fall into a scammer's trap. You'll lose a lot of money and benefit a lot. Although I don't want to admit it, that Wu Wuti is indeed a grandmaster in the world of scams. A person's reputation is like a tree's shadow. It's not an undeserved reputation. He's only half-baked. He expressed that this book was not undeserved. That's right, the 36 stratagems of deception. Each stratagem is soul-stirring and frightening. It goes straight to the heart's Tao and targets the weaknesses of human nature. It's impossible to guard against. The easiest to be fooled is the beauty trap. I was fooled by a young beauty before. She used her 36D to make me dizzy. She brought me to a high-end restaurant and ate a sky-high dinner. In the end, she cheated me of a large sum of money. I lost 3 months of my salary. I regret it. What's the use of a beauty trap? The trick of self-injury is the most frustrating. Using our sympathy to earn money, and willingly giving the money away, it's impossible to guard against. A beauty trap plus a trick of self-injury is the most invincible. A young beauty once cried in front of me, saying that her family was poor. She had 2 bedridden parents and 3 younger brothers. 2 younger sisters had to go to school and were crying piteously. She was the only one working in the family. In the end, I was moved to tears and lost all my money. Later, I found out that she was a scammer, a swindler. If you ask me, the scariest thing is a series of stratagems. One stratagem after another, trapping you. By the time you realize it, you have already fallen into the trap and have nowhere to escape. Fuck, how many people did that bastard deceive to have such penetrating insight? It's too scary. I reckon that cheating us of our money was just a small test. In fact, it's because we are greedy. If we weren't greedy, we wouldn't have been fooled. It's easier said than done. If we weren't greedy, would we still be human? The people of Far East City sighed with emotion. They expressed that this book had broadened their horizons. There were actually so many kinds of scams in the world. It was terrifying. Seeing this group of people discussing enthusiastically, someone immediately shouted angrily, "What the fuck is going on? Didn't I tell you not to buy this swindler's book even if you were beaten to death? Now that all of you have read it, could it be that all of you have bought his book? You're giving that guy money again. Do you still have any dignity? Do you have any backbone?" He was furious. He had thought that something had gone wrong, but he didn't expect that his own people would be the first to betray him and run to buy that swindler's book. Was there such a logic in this world? This is mainly because we want to understand what that swindler wrote. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm still curious. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will always be victorious. If we don't understand that swindler's situation, how can we defeat him? That's right. Brilliant. However, this sentence seems to be from that book. Brother, it seems that you read the book very carefully. The premise of these schemes is to know the person you are deceiving like the back of your hand. Only then can you win every battle. This is truly the truth. There is nothing more in the world than this. I didn't expect you to have such comprehension, brother. You understood it after reading it once. No. I'm very stupid. I only understood a little after reading it more than 10 times. The group of people looked very awkward and embarrassed. However, after saying the contents of the book, they began to discuss excitedly again. Read my ass. Chapter 1205. As time passed, the book continued to sell like hotcakes. Coupled with Germa's crazy promotion, more and more people came to know about Xia Ping's book, especially some literary masters. They also took notice of this best-selling book. Many masters were shocked when they saw it. Modernist literary master Pushkin sighed. Ever since I found out about this book, I've been studying it all night. I've been tossing and turning in bed. I've read it dozens of times. This is a modernist literary work. Wu Wudi isn't just a swindler. He's a master of philosophy, a master of human nature, and a master of Buddhism. He's well versed in the way of human nature and can see through human nature like a demon. The 36 Stratagems of Deception. Each stratagem is filled with human wisdom. It's really amazing. He was full of praise for the book. Classical writer Lu Guantong had the same thought. Previously, I suspected that he was just a swindler. Even if he was proficient in all kinds of deception, what tricks could he write? I reckon he was just trying to impress the public and wrote this book to earn money. Who knows, this book might even have been written by someone else. But after reading this book, I feel a chill run down my spine. It's as if Wu Wudi's soul appears above every scam in the entire universe. It's all-encompassing and omnipotent. Other than a master, who else can write such a book? If a ghostwriter had this ability, he would have become a master long ago. He wouldn't have waited until now. He strongly recommended this book and was not stingy with his words of praise. He kept recommending this book to others. Romantic writer Sabia also said, "I agree with everyone." On the surface, this is a book about deception and seems to be teaching others how to deceive. But in fact, it's teaching people to prevent scams and prevent trouble before it happens. It's a book that teaches people to do good and accumulate virtue. It's a book that advocates peace. It's the best book of the year. Everyone should buy a copy. In addition to these critics, many young writers also expressed their opinions. Before I read this book, I thought that trickery was a lowly act that specialized in deceiving fools. But after reading this book, I realized that I was wrong. Trickery is simply a kind of art. It is an action that can only be taken after understanding human nature. Every action is filled with philosophical thoughts and is thought-provoking. Greed, lust, gluttony, anger, pride, jealousy, and sloth are the 7 deadly sins of human nature. The 36 Stratagems of Deception vividly display these human weaknesses, sending chills down one's spine. If he didn't have many years of experience and astonishing wisdom, how could he have written such a shocking book? I wonder how many people Wu Wudi has deceived to have such penetrating insight. I can't imagine. I estimate that the number of people he's deceived is astonishing, and countless people have been deceived by him. I can't imagine. I estimate that the number of people he has deceived is astonishing, and the number of people who have been deceived by him is uncountable. If he didn't become as, but rather, he would be the same. This is the best book of the year. If you don't read it, it'll be a waste of your life. All the writers were not stingy with their praises. They were shocked by the contents of the book, expressing that the truth contained in the book went straight to their hearts. This was because this was a master of deception who took action. He had gained insight through many years of experience. Every sentence contained his thoughts on life, which made people think deeply and benefited a lot. Many influential writers in the industry spoke at the same time, and the publicity effect was no less than being broadcast on television. Even some people who were not interested in this matter knew about it. Many people were very interested as to why these great writers held this book in such high esteem. They all decided to buy this book, wanting to see what was written in it. However, when the people of Far East City heard the words of these great writers, they were extremely angry. Fuck, what's wrong with these writers? They're actually speaking up for a swindler and praising him so much. Are they crazy? They must have received money. It's said that the publisher behind this book is the Universe Book Media Company. That's a big company that works with many writers. They must have bribed them. They're still bragging here. What bullshit weakness of human nature. It even contains philosophical ideas. Actually, it's just deceiving a lot of people, but it actually rose to such a level. Why don't they say that it's better to understand life? Those writers don't do anything all day, they only know how to brag here. Who knows how many young people have been poisoned by them? Most of the ungrateful people are scholars, and most of the righteous people are dog butchers. What about us who have been cheated of our money? Can we only accept our bad luck? Despicable writers, shameless. Everyone gritted their teeth. They were infuriated by the recommendations of those writers. They did not consider their feelings at all, and even came here to recommend such a shameless book, as if they were afraid that others would not know. And this news quickly spread to the world of swindlers. Countless swindlers hidden in every corner of society knew about it. When they saw this book, it was as if they had obtained a treasure. It was as if they had found a path of thought and action, as if they had found a ray of light in the darkness to guide them forward. Grandmaster, this is definitely a grandmaster in the world of swindlers. Such words filled with wisdom. The 36 Stratagems of Swindlers. Every stratagem contains the true essence of swindlers, encompassing everything. Only after reading this book did I realize that I have lived my life like a dog. I thought that casually swindling a few rich people and obtaining a few million universe dollars would be considered amazing, and I would not have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of my life. But look at his mental state, it has already risen to the height of the universe. He can talk about the past and present, looking down on everyone. This is a treasure, a supreme treasure of our world of swindlers. As long as you learn a thing or two, you will definitely be rich and not have to worry about food or clothing. Making a feint in the east and waiting in the west, killing with a borrowed knife, creating something out of nothing, moving in the dark, stealing sheep in passing, and so on. Every stratagem is the experience gained from countless operations. I seem to have seen a swindler swindling the world, yet he is completely unscathed. The other party did not even see his face, and the money on him is gone. What I admire the most is the 36 stratagems. Escape is the best strategy. If the situation is not good, one should immediately escape. This is not escape, but a strategic retreat. After all, no matter how tight the plan is, no matter how thorough the execution, there will still be times when accidents occur. At this time, one should not fight to the death, but retreat strategically and regroup. Only by surviving can one continue to be a swindler with a future. Buy this book immediately and study it day and night. It is said that as long as one can read this book thoroughly, it will not be difficult to become a super rich person in the universe, with a net worth of more than 10 billion. Chapter 1206. At that moment, Yi Mengyao was video chatting with her friends in a boudoir somewhere in the Soaring Clouds sect. Amazing. This Wu Wuti doesn't appear, but when he does, it's shocking. He actually wrote a book and got so many literary giants to support him. It's really unbelievable. According to the news I received, this book has sold more than 3 million copies. Oh my god, more than 3 million copies. According to the price of this book, it's sold for at least 300 million universe credits. That's ridiculous. He's just a writer, yet he can earn so much money so easily. We work so hard to kill beasts and adventure in mystic realms, but we might not even earn that much. But then again, what exactly did he write? Why is it selling so well? Many of her girlfriends were chattering away. They all felt that this matter was too unbelievable. They even wondered if Wu Wuti had placed a vicious curse on the people of the 5 major star fields, forcing them to buy the books. Otherwise, how could the sales be so exaggerated? Mengyao, what do you think? One of her friends asked. This. Of course, Yi Mengyao had also received the news. She knew that Wu Wuti's book was selling so well that it caused an uproar in the 5 major star fields. Many literary giants had joined forces to recommend this book. Although she was very reluctant, she still bought the book and read it. She wanted to know what Wu Wuti had written and why so many people admired it. It's indeed a very powerful book. No wonder so many people recommended it. I wonder how many people this guy has deceived to write such a book. Although Yi Mengyao was unwilling, she had to admit this. Even though she was already prepared and thought that Wu Wuti was definitely not a simple liar, she did not expect him to write such a comprehensive collection of deception. The highest level of deception is to deceive the heart. As long as you can deceive the heart, you will be successful. This Wu Wuti is indeed a very dangerous guy. Yi Mengyao looked at the last sentence of the book and remembered what happened in the virtual world. That bastard did not kill her because he wanted to deceive her heart. Could it be that the bastard had already targeted her and wanted to deceive her as well? Thinking of this, she gritted her teeth in anger. Sure enough, such a dangerous person must not be left alone. Otherwise, who knew how much danger he would cause? We must find a way to catch him. Yi Mengyao clenched her fists. She had made up her mind. No matter what she had to do, she had to find Wu Wuti and bring him to justice. She could not let him get away scot-free. But this book is selling so well. Wu Wuti must have become a tycoon. I reckon that the final sales volume will reach a terrifying figure. That guy's net worth is at least a few billion universe credits. My God, the sex elder's net worth is probably only at this level. I wonder if I'll have the chance to catch a man like this. If I can charm him so much that he'll willingly give me money, then I'll be rich. TSK, he's a master of deception. A silly girl like you better not be eaten up by him. When that time comes, you'll run back crying with a big belly and say that he's a scumbag. Bullshit, this young lady is an outstanding beauty. How could I be deceived by that person? It has always been men who fall in love with me, not me who has been deceived. A group of close friends chattered. Yi Mengyao was speechless, but she was determined not to let this group of close friends come into contact with Wu Wuti. Otherwise, according to that swindler's methods, who knew how many saintesses would lose their virginity? A few days later. The book, 36 Stratagems of Deception, sold like hotcakes in the 5 major star fields. Countless people who were interested in it chose to buy it, causing its sales to rise steadily. 1 million copies, 2 million copies, 3 million copies, and finally, it reached 20 million copies. Moreover, these were only the figures for the past few days. As time passed, it was believed that the sales figures would continue to rise. The sales are too hot. When Germa heard the sales figures, he felt his heart tremble. He didn't know how long it had been since he saw such hot sales of a book. Although there were many books in their company that could sell tens of millions of copies, the price of those books was very low, only $5. Even selling tens of millions of copies was nothing. However, 36 Stratagems of Deception was different. Its price was too high, reaching $100. It was more than 20 times the price of other books. With such a price, the sales volume still reached 20 million copies. The sales volume was too shocking. Just calculating the sales volume alone, it had already reached $2 billion. If such a sales volume were to be spread, who knew how many people would be scared to death? This was the horror of the great writers in the universe. If they published a best-selling book, they would basically not have to worry about food and clothing. However, the problem was that there were countless people who published books. Who knew how difficult it was to reach tens of millions of sales? Most people lost everything, and they couldn't even earn back the cost of printing. The share is too high. At this moment, Germa thought of the contract with Xia Ping. His heart ached as if a piece of his flesh had been cut off. According to the agreement in the contract, he needed to give 70% of the profits to Xia Ping, while his company would only get 30%. In other words, this time, Xia Ping had earned at least $1.4 billion. As time passed, the money he earned would continue to increase. When the time came, it would not be difficult to earn billions of universe dollars. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. If he had known that this book would be so popular, he would never have signed the contract. Because one more percentage point meant tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of universe dollars. Such a huge profit was simply crazy. However, he thought about it carefully. If he didn't agree to sign the contract, Woody probably wouldn't agree to cooperate with his company. At that time, his company would lose this golden chicken. Woody would also run to a rival company. At that time, it would be too late for regrets. Although the money he earned now was a little less than he had imagined, it was good enough that he made some money. At least he didn't have to worry about Woody running to a rival company and affecting the company's interests. It seems that according to this year's profit level, I have a chance to be promoted to the head office. Germa was looking forward to it and was full of ambition. He had been in the position of the general manager of the branch company for decades and had been unable to be promoted because of a lack of performance. Now that he had this book that was popular in the 5 major star regions and brought huge benefits to the company, he believed that he, Germa, would also be qualified to enter the head office and hold a more important position. Right, I have to inform Mr. Wu of this good news as soon as possible. Germa immediately wanted to contact Xia Ping. A golden chicken like this must be maintained at all times. Otherwise, if the golden chicken ran away, his loss would be great. However, when he made a call, he couldn't get through. What? He's already in seclusion. How long will it take for him to come out? Germa heard the news from Corinne. Now that Xia Ping had no time to answer the phone, all external communications were handled by Corinne. Forget it. I'll deal with this news with him when he comes out of seclusion. Chapter 1207. In the depths of the universe, a barren primitive planet. At this moment, Xia Ping's spaceship did not return to Qiankuan sect, but landed on a mountain peak on this primitive planet. This planet is very large, equivalent to 3 times the size of Yanhuang planet. It is rich in spiritual energy, and there are many fierce beasts living on this planet. The forest is lush and lush. However, there is no intelligent life on this planet, and there is no unique planetary culture, so it is still in the primitive era, and there is no need to worry about being attacked by the natives here. The reason why he did not return to Qiankuan sect, but landed on this primitive planet he accidentally encountered was because Xia Ping cultivated on the spaceship and finally reached the fulfillment realm. His divine sense and spiritual power have reached the peak of the fulfillment realm. If someone could see his current situation, they would definitely feel that his whole body is full of spiritual power, like a balloon, inflated to the extreme, and his every move has the power to break mountains. Even his divine sense power is like a sword light, tearing the world and distorting the void. It is extremely tyrannical. At this time, Xia Ping's power reached an unprecedented peak state. It seems that with just one step, he can push open the door of the divine power realm and completely master the martial Dao divine power. Originally, Xia Ping wanted to return to Qiankuan sect to advance to the divine power realm. After all, with the protection of Qiankuan sect and the rich spiritual energy of heaven and earth, it is the best place for seclusion. The problem is that he has a hunch that if he advances to the divine power realm, it will definitely cause a great phenomenon. Even the heavenly tribulation will be attracted. At that time, the secret on his body will probably not be able to be concealed, and he will not be able to explain it, so he can't return to Qiankuan sect to break through. After thinking about it, Xia Ping decided to find a nearby planet to land on. However, he did not expect that he would be so lucky. In the vast universe, among many planets, he found a planet with life, which could be used as a place for his seclusion. A cave. Xia Ping came out of the spaceship, came to this cave with rich spiritual energy, and sat down cross-legged. Ding! At this time, the system's voice came, "Congratulations to the host for triggering a huge hatred from Far East City and others. This time, you got a total of 320 million hatred points. I hope you can continue to work hard. 320 million hatred points. Xia Ping was immediately overjoyed. If you add the previous hatred points, he now has 1.4 billion hatred points. Although there is still a long way to go to 10 billion hatred points, this is also a great improvement of wealth. It's time for me to break through to divine tier. At the thought of this, Xia Ping took out the peace bloom. The reason why he hadn't used it for so long was because he wanted to use it to break through to the transcendent realm. Now was also the best time to consume this spirit herb. Once he consumed it, he would be in a state of epiphany, allowing him to quickly comprehend martial Dao spirit techniques, condensed spirit technique talismans, and step into the spirit technique secret realm. Host, if you use the hatred value, it can help the host to greatly extend the state of epiphany, allowing the host to quickly comprehend the martial path divine ability, allowing the host to achieve twice the results with half the effort, and more easily step into the divine ability realm. The system suddenly spoke. What? Xia Ping was startled. According to Corinne's estimation, if he used Peace Bloom, it would be pretty good if he could stay in the state of enlightenment for the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. However, even if it was only the time it took to brew a cup of tea, it was still very shocking, because in a state of epiphany, it was equivalent to the speed of thinking more than 10,000 times. In this state, no matter what kind of martial arts he comprehended, he would progress at lightning speed. This was equivalent to an ordinary person's IQ suddenly evolving into Einstein's. No matter what problem it was solving or what it was looking at, it would be easy. That's why Peace Bloom was so precious and was desired by countless martial artists. But with the power of the system, he could actually prolong the state of epiphany, which was simply a great thing. It must be known that the more martial arts divine abilities one could comprehend after stepping into the divine ability realm, the better, which directly led to everyone's combat power being different and the foundation being different. Of course, it was not mastering some trash divine abilities, the quality of divine abilities was also very important, even mastering 100 ordinary divine abilities was not as good as mastering a powerful divine ability. But if the quality and quantity of divine abilities reached an astonishing level, it would be invincible, able to sweep through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, with an invincible posture. How much time can it be extended? Xia Ping immediately asked. The system replied, spending 1 billion hatred points can extend the state of epiphany for 1 day. Redeem. Xia Ping did not hesitate. If hatred points could greatly enhance his strength, a mere 1 billion hatred points was nothing at all, nothing was as powerful as the main body. Moreover, the divine ability realm was also known as the foundational realm, basically stepping into the realm of human and non-human, beginning to master the power of divine abilities, affecting heaven and earth. This realm was extremely important. If one step was wrong, it would be too late to regret it. Chapter 1208. Oh right, I have to consume all the pills too. To ensure that he would be able to break through to the transcendent realm without any problems, Xia Ping took out many pills that could increase his powers. These were all obtained from the Blood Soul mainland and there were many of them. Now was the perfect time to consume these pills to help him step into the transcendent realm. While Xia Ping consumed all the pills and the sun furnace in his body started to burn. The medicinal powers of the pills were quickly refined and turned into a warm current that flowed through the meridians in his body. With the help of these pills, the magic power in his body increased rapidly as well. Xia Ping was already at the great circle of the fulfillment realm. Now that he had obtained the peace bloom, consumed a large amount of pills, and even had the help of the system, he instantly stepped into the divine ability realm. He could feel the profound aura of the unseen world. In this state of enlightenment, he felt that his understanding of the martial path and mystic arts was improving by leaps and bounds. It was as though he had cultivated for hundreds of years and understood all sorts of martial arts. Boom! In that instant, Xia Ping's body jerked as all 108,000 pores on his body began to emit a boundless amount of energy, forming an endless amount of astral energy. Any single one of them was enough to tear a mountain apart and crush steel. Strand after strand of powers flowed through the air like a long river of laws. With his body as the center, a huge aura was formed in a radius of tens of miles. His body seemed to have turned into a whirlpool. Every pore on his body was like a divine bird, taking in and spitting out heaven and earth energy that flowed into his body like a river. If Xia Ping's cultivation scene appeared in the Qiankun sect, who knew how much of a shock it would bring? After all, even if one reached the Golden Core realm, no one would be able to create such a phenomenon. At this moment, all the beasts in the primordial forest within a radius of thousands of miles felt a huge sense of danger. It was as though a giant beast from the abyss had awoken and was using the area as its territory. All of them were so scared that their hairs stood on end. They awakened their instincts and fled frantically, afraid that they would be devoured by the giant beast from the abyss. Who? Xia Ping activated the pure yang immortal art and comprehended the martial path in his body. In the depths of his brain, magical power vibrated, and mist rose. All the martial arts secret manuals that he had cultivated in the past appeared in his mind. Star Guiding Art, Yang God Fist, Dark North Body Protection Technique, Head Piercing 7 Arrows Technique, Great Yin Yang Tablet Smashing Hand, Black Vortex Ripple Fist, Lion Vajra Seal, Hell Demon Suppression Spear, Kuan Ping Steps, Telepathic Heart Technique, and so on surged out from the depths of his brain. In the depths of his soul, Xia Ping's figure was practicing cultivation techniques one after another, as if he was trying to master these martial arts cultivation techniques. Xia Ping, who was in a state of enlightenment, felt waves of information flow into his mind. Many things that he did not understand in the past were immediately understood in this state, reaching a profound realm. One by one, the cultivation methods began to undergo a huge transformation under this kind of deduction. Dong! After an unknown period of time, Xia Ping's bones and tendons resonated together. Countless magic power vibrated in the void, as if under the guidance of an inexplicable force of heaven and earth, it transformed into an azure rune. The first transformation was the Dark North Body Protection Technique that he had cultivated for a long time. Under the operation of Xia Ping, the endless airflow quickly merged into this azure rune, outlining a trace, like a Tao mark. Vaguely, there was a Kuan Peng living in it, and the depths of this talisman seemed to form an independent space, which contained a boundless sea, and the sea water was tumbling. A Kuan Peng was rolling above the endless sea, sometimes deep into the bottom of the sea, sometimes out of the water, sometimes soaring in the void, surrounded by the breath of the void, swaying its huge tail, gently patting, even the space appeared ripples. It was unrestrained and free, and it seemed that nothing in this world could stop it. It could escape into the void at any time, just like Zhuang Zhou's dream. This was an illusory beast. In the depths of the void, there seemed to be a burst of sound. There is a fish in the north underworld, its name is Kuan. Kuan is so big that I don't know thousands of miles. It turns into a bird, and its name is Peng. The back of Peng is thousands of miles, it flies angrily, and its wings are like clouds hanging in the sky. It is a bird, and the sea will migrate to the south underworld. The south underworld is the heaven lake. These sounds vibrated in his body, and all of them were instilled into the depths of the talisman, as if it made the Kuan Peng in the depths of the talisman produce a trace of spiritual aura, giving it life. Divine Ability Talisman, this is the real Divine Ability Talisman. Xia Ping knew that he had finally stepped into the Divine Ability realm, and transformed the North Underworld Protection Technique into a Divine Ability Talisman. He had completely mastered this divine technique and cultivated it to the Divine Ability realm. When this Divine Ability Talisman appeared, as long as he moved his mind, it seemed that his entire body had merged into the Kuan Peng's body, and he had the power of invincibility and immortality. He even felt that he seemed to have mastered a trace of space power, and there was a crystallization aura in the depths of his magic power. With a move of his divine consciousness, he activated the North Underworld Protection Technique. His body was immediately covered with densely packed space crystals, as if a space barrier had appeared around his body. Nothing would happen if ordinary power attacked it. Even if a nuclear bomb exploded around his body, it would not hurt him at all. Too strong. Xia Ping truly felt the power of the divine ability realm. Such a realm was an invincible existence in the Cloud Continent. Even in the universe, he was not considered cannon fodder. Because once he reached this realm, he had the power to resist a nuclear bomb with his body. Of course, even a nuclear bomb was nothing in the universe. After all, the range of a nuclear bomb explosion was only tens of kilometers. Tens of thousands of nuclear bombs could not destroy the Earth. At most, it would cause a nuclear winter and destroy mankind, but the Earth would be unscathed. In the universe, a truly tyrannical shell could destroy a star in one shot. In comparison, a nuclear bomb was just a small bomb. The Kunpeng steps has also evolved. With the transformation of the North Underworld protection technique, the Kunpeng steps, which was closely related to it, also seemed to feel a trace of the Kunpeng's true essence. A divine ability talisman quickly condensed in the depths of Xia Ping's mind. Originally, the Kunpeng steps was only a king-rank middle-grade cultivation method, but under the influence of the North Underworld protection technique, it directly transformed into a king-rank peerless cultivation method. It even had the embryonic form of evolving towards a saint-rank cultivation method. He felt that this martial Dao divine ability was extremely powerful. With just a light step, he seemed to be able to escape into the void. The surrounding space turned into ripples, and no force could stop him. This was already a bit like the legendary martial Dao divine ability, Imminent Skyline. It was a different approach with the same effect. Although he did not have the power to cross the ends of the earth with one step, Xia Ping could feel that he could cross dozens of kilometers with one step. It was extremely fast, surpassing the speed of sound. Chapter 1209. However, this was just the beginning. As Dark North Body Protection Technique and Kunpeng Steps condensed into martial Dao magical powers, Xia Ping sensed that the third martial art Nailhead 7 Arrows technique seemed to have begun to transform. Boom in the void, the primordial chi vibrated and instantly condensed into a black talisman. This talisman seemed to contain a sharp arrow, exuding a terrible arrow chi that had the power to penetrate space. Ordinary people would have a feeling that their souls were pierced when they saw this sharp arrow. This black talisman exuded ominous, like a curse. Once it targeted the enemy, it would not stop until they died. So strong, it actually contains the power of curse. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. After cultivating to the magical power realm, he found that the power of Nailhead 7 Arrows technique was only the tip of the iceberg. It was not only a peerless hidden weapon technique, but also contained the power of curse. If a trace of dark curse aura was emitted, it would entangle the enemy for a lifetime. If the strength was strong enough, it could kill the enemy from 100 miles away. Now that this technique had transformed into a martial Dao magical power, its power was several times stronger than before. He grabbed with his big hand, condensed the void's spiritual power, immediately turned into a black arrow, and immediately threw it out. Puchi! Immediately, the black arrow immediately shot through the mountain. The mountain rock was as fragile as tofu. It flew for dozens of kilometers and pierced through dozens of mountains. The mountain wall that was pierced was immediately corroded by the black aura, and a pit appeared. Only when it pierced through the last mountain did the black arrow, which was condensed from magic power, dissipate. Even the rocks were damaged to this extent. If such a black arrow hit a living creature, it would probably cause irreparable damage, directly injuring the soul. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. The magical power talisman of Nailhead 7 Arrows technique had just condensed, and another technique, Hell-Suppressing Demon Spear, also underwent an earth-shattering change. In an instant, a black hole appeared in the sky, whistling in gusts of cold wind. This dark and deep hole seemed to be connected to the depths of hell. Endless hell aura emitted, gathered together, and condensed into a dark talisman. And in this talisman, there seemed to be a blood-colored spear standing. Inside it contained a blood-colored land. The ground was filled with the corpses of skeletons, demons, and so on, and the blood flowed like a river. The moment the hell-suppressing demon spear condensed into a magical power talisman, it seemed to communicate with the power of hell. Vaguely, there were ghosts crying, asuras roaring, and demons roaring. With Xiaoping as the center, a terrifying hell aura suddenly erupted, as if the entire mountain was dyed black, as if a demon had walked out from hell. The hell spear on his body was trembling slightly, as though it could sense the familiar aura of hell. It was excited, as though a god-devil was about to awaken within the hell spear. Xiao! Xiaoping grabbed out with his hand and grabbed the hell spear, stabbing it forward. Immediately, a wave of hell's power shot out, piercing through the mountain. Demon, spear, and demon, it, and spirit, and hell demon, and ping of. This martial art that was passed down from hell began to display a trace of the power of a magical power, and it had the ability to subdue demons. 2 black talismans floated in the air. Although they were both black, they represented different dark powers. One was curse and assassination, and the other was suppression and destruction. Even so, these 2 different powers seemed to be attracted to each other. They were like 2 planets, intertwining and rotating slowly. Black light blossomed, and an inexplicable attraction was produced. The Nailhead 7 Arrows art and the hell-suppressing demon spear are actually similar. Could it be that they can be fused? The moment these 2 martial arts' magical powers were successfully condensed, Xiaoping instinctively felt that the hell-suppressing demon spear seemed to be tainted with a trace of curse aura, and it had a trace of the characteristics of the Nailhead 7 Arrows art. If these 2 martial arts' magical powers could be fused, the power that erupted would be unbelievable. If the spear pierced through, the enemy's soul would probably be instantly pierced, and they would die without a complete corpse. However, he didn't have time to consider these things at the moment. Very soon, the 5th martial art began to transform. It was the spiritual type martial art that he had just obtained, the Lion's Vajra Seal and Telepathic Heart. After advancing to the divine realm, the soul power in his body had also been greatly enhanced. This result also allowed his spiritual secret arts to rise to a new level. Boom! In an instant, the Lion's Vajra Seal underwent a huge transformation. A huge golden seal appeared in the air, and there seemed to be a golden divine lion living within it. Golden blood flowed in its body, and it exuded a noble, ancient, and holy aura. This huge golden seal had an ancient imprint that could intimidate all low-level living beings. It seemed like it could crush the enemy's soul with just a light smash. Vaguely, a divine lion seemed to have appeared behind Xiaoping, standing in the air and roaring at the sky. It emitted a terrifying divine might that shocked the surrounding 10,000 miles, causing countless living beings to tremble. The surrounding air distorted and turned into ripples. With Xiaoping's body as the center, the ripples spread out in all directions, covering thousands of miles. Chapter 12:10. As the telepathic heart technique successfully condensed the talisman, the 7th martial art, Black Vortex Ripple Fist, also evolved. Boom! Immediately, a gray talisman rose up. It was like a black whirlpool that kept spinning. It contained a spiral power that seemed to be able to kill everything. The moment the gray talisman appeared, it produced a terrifying devouring power. It was like a black hole that swallowed everything in the world and killed them. Dong! Xiaoping used the skill and punched out. Immediately, a black hole appeared. Countless rocks on the ground were swallowed and turned to dust in just a breath's time. In the distance, a huge hole was blasted open in the mountain wall. The wind outside blew in, whistling loudly. Heavenly Dragon's music. Almost at the same time, Xiaoping felt the Heavenly Dragon's music condense into a talisman. The talisman looked like a musical rune and it tinkled. In the depths of the talisman lived a heavenly dragon that swam in the clouds. Its huge body appeared and disappeared, giving off the majesty of a dragon. Its aura was no weaker than that of a divine lion. Wu. Gu. Ba. Ma. Ha. 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 The moment the talisman was condensed, there seemed to be a heavenly dragon roaring in the depths of the sky. It was earth-shattering and had the power to pierce through metal and rock. Every syllable had shocking power that could penetrate one's soul. Yin-Yang Tablet Smashing Palm. This saint-tier skill from heaven and earth sect also evolved. Endless spiritual power shook and black and white air currents appeared in the sky. This was the power of yin and yang, which then gathered together. Immediately, the talisman was condensed quickly. The black and white air currents merged together. It looked like a Taiji universe diagram that reached a state of balance between yin and yang. This power is so strong. Xia Ping patted it lightly and the talisman smashed down. The Taiji universe diagram crushed down from the sky like a black and white millstone, destroying everything and emitting chaotic air currents. With a boom, a deep hole was smashed into the ground. It was dozens of meters deep. The entire mountain was shaking as if it was about to be split into pieces by this power. Oh! It can actually refine the body. As the Taiji cosmic map condensed, Xia Ping quickly discovered that the talisman had devoured the yin and yang powers of the world. Then, it rapidly surged into his body and seeped into every cell. The Taiji diagram of the universe seemed to appear on his back as well. The power of yin and yang merged into his body, forming chaotic air currents that constantly washed away every single impurity in his body. Some of the mysterious acupoints in the depths of Xiao Chen's brain were also opened. His body's potential was unlocked once more. As the vast yin and yang energies washed over him, they fused with his qi and blood. Immediately, the 108,000 pores on his body spewed out strong astral winds. Like sword qi, they bombarded the surrounding mountain walls with a puqi sound. Like a sniper rifle, the mountain walls immediately showed a state of being riddled with holes. One could imagine just how terrifying these surging streams of air were. If he were to unleash all of his power, who knew how terrifying it would be? Xia Ping could probably kill countless cultivators with just a slight breath. If others were to witness such an unimaginable power, they would definitely be scared to death. Even if he had advanced to the divine power realm, his power would not be this exaggerated. His potential was terrifying. Sun God Fist. The moment the great yin-yang tablet smashing hand condensed into a divine power talisman, the Sun God Fist also underwent a transformation. Wisps of flame aura emanated from Xia Ping's body. The blood in the depths of his body was boiling like lava. The flame aura quickly gathered together and formed an airflow talisman. Finally, it kept rotating and turned into a red divine power talisman. It looked like a sun. The sun rotated slowly, and liquid like lava tumbled inside, constantly emitting monstrous flames. There seemed to be a flaming divine bird living inside. The space inside the talisman seemed to be a world of flames. There were 4 types of mystical flames: the fire of life, the fire of drought, the essence of the sun, and the spiritual fire of the earth core. Drip drops of flames fell on the ground, instantly burning through the ground. They directly penetrated hundreds of meters underground, almost piercing through the mountain. There was a sizzling sound, and even the rocks were burned into lava. As the red talisman rotated, the temperature of the entire mountain rose rapidly. The rocks were in a red state, as if they had been burned by the flames and were about to melt. The power of the flames between heaven and earth also crazily surged into Xia Ping's body, entering his 108 acupoints. At this moment, there was a golden crow of hell living in each acupoint. They opened their big mouths and greedily ate the power of the flames. Every blood vessel in his body was filled with lava energy, rumbling. The golden crow of hell cells in his body were also unsealed, and a huge amount of energy surged out. They quickly transformed into the golden crow of hell body, and a pair of golden wings formed from flames grew on his back. Xia Ping gently pointed, and the power of the flames in his body surged out from countless meridians in his body, finally gathering in his finger. Then, he instantly shot out, and a beam of red energy exploded. Dong! Suddenly, a mountain in the distance was pierced, and a hole with a diameter of dozens of meters appeared. But this was only the beginning. The huge flames immediately surrounded the mountain. In the time of a few breaths, the mountain was surrounded by huge flames, and all the plants were burned to ashes. Even the rocks on the mountain were burned to the point of crackling, turning into black stones. The raging fire burned as if it had turned into a huge flaming mountain. Above the flaming mountain, the flames burned, forming a vision. A golden crow of hell stood on the top of the mountain and cawed, faintly resonating with the sun. Moreover, the flames did not seem to be extinguished in a short period of time, and there was already a trace of the embryonic form of an immortal fire. If there was no external force to stop it, the flames of this mountain could probably burn for 100 years. This was the power of the magical power of the young god fist, which had the mighty power to change the world. Huh? Is the epiphany about to end? There seems to be another star guiding art. At this moment, Xia Ping sensed that he had comprehended a total of 10 martial arts magical powers, and it had taken him almost a day. He estimated that after a period of time, he would leave the state of epiphany. At that time, if he wanted to comprehend martial arts magical powers, he would probably have to waste a lot of time, so he must not waste this opportunity. Moreover, this star guiding art was also a saint-tier cultivation technique. This was a tyrannical cultivation technique that he had obtained from the Stars sect, and its power was not inferior to the Yang God Fist. Once he condensed the magical power talisman, he would immediately be able to cultivate the star body, and its power would be endless. This would also greatly increase his combat power. Chapter 12:11. Star Guiding Art. Xia Ping's eyes seemed to contain the light of the stars. Many mysteries of the star guiding art appeared in his mind. At this moment, the sky seemed to have darkened, and the stars densely covered the void. One after another, the stars flickered in the night sky, constantly vibrating and drawing energy. Strands after strand of starry energy fell down and instilled into every corner of Xia Ping's body. The starry energy quickly gathered together and finally condensed into a magical talisman. It looked like a 5-pointed star on the outside, and it seemed to contain a galaxy inside. Countless stars shone brightly inside. Rumble, the moment the star guiding art condensed into a magical talisman, Xia Ping's body resonated with the stars in the universe. Endless starry energy was projected from the void and entered his body. One after another, stars appeared in his acupoints. It was as if his body had become a star chart. The starlight attracted each other, forming a galaxy that connected with each other. His whole body was bathed in starlight. At this moment, his blood seemed to be filled with the power of the stars. Azure energy appeared on the surface of his skin and seeped into every corner of his body. Star Constitution. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He felt that his body had undergone a completely different change from before. It was as if he could crush a meteorite with a casual clench of his fist. His body was unprecedentedly powerful. It was as if it had been tempered into a star, indestructible. It was like an extraterrestrial meteorite that had been tempered by countless forces. With a thought and a breath, millions of stars seemed to dance along with his breathing. He could easily use the power of the stars to crush his enemies. Vaguely, 360 stars appeared in his acupoints. They flowed with a chaotic aura and rotated slowly. It was as if a star chart of the outer realm was constructed in his body. This chart had the power to suppress the universe and push the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Without a doubt, this was the sign of a successful cultivation of the star constitution. It could be said that the strength of the star constitution was extremely terrifying. It was not inferior to the ghost god body, martial god body, blazing body, chaotic body, yin-yang body, five elements body, and other famous special constitutions in the universe. It was known as one of the strongest constitutions in the universe and could be invincible for an era. Moreover, after cultivating this kind of constitution, one could also use the power of the stars. Dong! Xia Ping took a step forward and punched out. The talismans of the star attraction art danced in the air, and a planet fell from the sky. Immediately, the gravity in the surroundings increased by hundreds of times, covering an area of 100 miles. Everything in this area was subjected to a terrifying gravitational force. Some of the weaker materials were instantly crushed into powder. The entire ground seemed to have collapsed by more than 10 meters, causing a rumbling sound. He can actually control gravity. Xia Ping's eyes flashed, and he condensed the star attraction art into a divine ability talisman. Immediately, the divine ability of gravity was born. He could control the gravity of the universe and exert it on his enemies, making them feel like they were carrying a planet on their backs. In the face of this kind of supernatural power, ordinary enemies would not even be able to stand steadily in front of the star face. Weaker enemies would be directly shaken to the point that their lungs would be shattered, and they would crawl on the ground with their bones crushed. What a powerful star attraction art! Xia Ping increasingly felt the power of this cultivation technique. The star guiding art was all-encompassing. Once cultivated to a certain level, divine abilities would be born, and it would have the power to deduce 10,000 techniques. With the star guiding art as the foundation, it could evolve into tens of thousands of offensive techniques in the world. This was the highest inheritance of the stars sect. With the star guiding art, there was no need for other divine abilities or secret techniques. Those who cultivated this cultivation technique could slowly practice the enemy's divine abilities in battle and turn them into their own. It's already over. With a bang, Xia Ping suddenly felt that he had left the state of epiphany. His thinking speed that was 10,000 times faster instantly stopped, and he returned to his original state. Immediately, he felt that the speed at which he comprehended the martial path mystic arts was much, much slower. Originally, he wanted to transform the few martial arts he had into martial path mystic arts, but now that he had left the state of enlightenment, he couldn't do it in a short period of time. I didn't expect a day and a night to pass so quickly. Xia Ping sighed. Cultivation was timeless. He felt that only a few hours had passed, but he didn't expect a day and a night to pass so quickly. It was incomparably fast. He had also successfully cultivated 11 martial Dao divine abilities. Each divine ability was extremely powerful and had the terrifying power to sweep away his opponents. It could even change heaven and earth. Suddenly, Xia Ping felt that the changes in his body didn't seem to have ended. As he condensed the 11 martial Dao divine abilities and advanced to the divine ability realm, the golden crow of hell cells in his body were also frantically unsealed. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, in the end, a total of 10,000 golden crow of hell cells were completely unsealed. The majestic power of the golden crow of hell's bloodline immediately covered his body, purifying the power of the bloodline in his body. Dong! 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 Chapter 12:12. Suddenly, Xia Ping felt a trace of palpitation. He looked up and saw dark clouds covering the sky. He didn't know when these dark clouds had covered the surrounding 10,000 miles. From the depths of the black hole, thunderclouds surged out and condensed into substance, crackling. Each thunderbolt was like a divine spear, exuding a heart-palpitating aura of destruction. Obviously, when Xia Ping's golden crow of hell bloodline broke through, it also attracted the heavenly punishment. And this time, the lightning tribulation was more terrifying than the last time. There were a total of 27 lightning punishments. The power of each lightning was enough to easily kill a divine power realm cultivator. Oh my God, What the hell is going on? Who did I provoke? Why am I being struck by lightning again? It's not like it's a thunder retribution realm expert. Corinne, who was hiding beside Xia Ping, widened his eyes and contracted his pupils. He simply couldn't understand. He had seen Xia Ping encounter lightning tribulation before, but he thought it might be a coincidence. But who would have thought that after advancing to the divine power realm, it would happen again, and the power would increase by who knows how many times. Although the 27th lightning punishment was only 9 more than the 18th lightning punishment, it was not only more frightening in terms of quantity, but it was also incomparable in terms of power. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. Come on. Regardless of what Corinne was thinking at the moment, Xia Ping looked up at the sky. He was fearless at the moment. Now that he had awakened the golden crow of Hell's heart, his vitality was unprecedentedly powerful. As long as he wasn't instantly killed, he could quickly recover from his injuries. If anyone wanted to fight a protracted battle with him, it was simply courting death. Even if the power of the 27 lightning punishments was very terrifying, he was confident that he could withstand it. Dong! Dong! In the blink of an eye, bolts of purple lightning descended from the sky. They were as thick as buckets and contained destructive energy, enough to easily split a mountain into pieces. Kill! Xia Ping punched out, containing a terrible fist energy. The power of fire in his body burst out, as if the god of fire had come to the world, instantly bombarding the thunderbolts. Bang! Bang! The two forces collided, producing a huge shock wave. The collision of the power of fire and the power of thunder was like the collision of two planets. The resulting energy swept out. Suddenly, more than 10 mountains in the surroundings were flattened by the storm, and half of the mountain tops were blown away. Such a head-on clash seemed to have angered the heavenly tribulation. In an instant, hundreds of purple thunderbolts descended at the same time. Like missiles, they all smashed into Xia Ping's head and exploded at the same time. Dark North Body Protection Technique. Xia Ping immediately activated his divine ability. His body was instantly covered in a layer of spatial barrier. Dense runes appeared on the surface of the barrier, resembling the patterns of an ancient turtle shell. The purple thunderbolts were easily blocked by it, leaving it unscathed. But even so, the power of the thunder trial was extremely horrifying. It contained a frightening penetrative power, causing Xia Ping's qi and blood to churn and the mana within his body to show signs of disorder. Moreover, as time passed, the power of the lightning tribulation would become more and more terrifying. Rumble the 27 lightning tribulations bombarded Xia Ping for 3 days and 3 nights. Thick lightning bolts descended one after another, not giving Xia Ping any time to rest. The power of such lightning tribulations tore the earth and razed it to the ground. Mountains collapsed, forests were destroyed, and the fierce beasts that were affected were turned into ashes. Almost everything was wiped out. The battlefield rolled for thousands of kilometers. It could be said that this area had become a forbidden place for life. The surrounding air was filled with the crackling sound of lightning, and from time to time, there were traces of lightning sparks. It was estimated that within 100 years, there would be no life in this place, and the residual power of the thunder would appear from time to time, destroying life, and everywhere was filled with a destructive aura. Hu. At this moment, Xia Ping was half-kneeling in a deep pit, breathing heavily, and sweating profusely. Even though he had advanced to the divine ability realm and condensed a total of 11 martial Dao divine abilities, his strength had greatly increased. But facing the 27 lightning tribulations, it was still enough to kill him. His body was charred black, and his appearance was like a piece of charcoal. Blood flowed out, and he seemed to have turned into a blood man. When the blood dripped on the ground, it immediately turned into lava, forming a river of lava, turning the land into a sea of fire, and the fire was also burning. The surrounding temperature also rose up, and thick smoke rose up as if it was the end of the world. Fortunately, he had awakened the golden crow of Hell Heart, and his life force was unprecedentedly strong. So, even though he was forced to the brink of death many times, he still survived. It's finally over. Xia Ping was overjoyed, and he clenched his fists, feeling the abundant power in his body. It looked like his injuries were serious, and every inch of his skin was cracked, but in reality, with the golden crow of Hell Heart, his injuries were recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Moreover, he was already used to being struck by lightning, and his body had even absorbed a lot of lightning essence, which was hidden deep in his cells. From time to time, lightning energy would explode and sizzle. Such lightning energy was also activating his cells and strengthening his body's potential. After a period of time, he would be able to completely recover from his injuries. Maybe I should find a chance to learn a martial Dao divine ability related to lightning, and it might be easier to learn. Xia Ping's eyes shone. He had been struck by the lightning tribulations for so long, and his body had accumulated a lot of lightning essence. It could be said that there were not many people in the world who had so much lightning energy in their body like him. This was the benefit of not dying after suffering the lightning tribulations. Moreover, if he learned a lightning divine ability, it might be a lot easier to deal with the lightning tribulations in the future. Otherwise, if he continued like this, sooner or later he would be struck to death by lightning. What a freak! Corinne also saw this scene. Originally, the phenomenon of Xia Ping advancing to the divine ability realm was shocking enough, but he didn't expect such a terrifying lightning tribulations to appear. If it was an ordinary divine ability realm cultivator, he would have already been struck to death by the first lightning. How could he resist for 3 days and 3 nights, and even withstood the 27 waves of lightning tribulations? But then again, which divine ability realm cultivator was so freakish to actually encounter lightning tribulations at this realm? Generally speaking, only those who advanced to the lightning tribulations realm and were about to step into the realm of sages would encounter lightning tribulations. But this kid was suffering lightning tribulations now, it was too inconceivable. Corinne said that he had never encountered such a situation, and it was really unimaginable. It could only be that this kid was really an evildoer, and heaven and earth could not tolerate him, and heaven wanted to strike him to death. It's just that this guy's life was tough, and he couldn't be struck to death. Be careful, Xia Ping, there seems to be a spaceship coming over. Suddenly, Corinne immediately sensed something. The detection system found a black spaceship flying in the distant space, and a special mark was engraved on the surface of the spaceship, which was impressively a red scarf. Chapter 12-13. How dare you fly in front of me? Get down. Xia Ping raised his head and calmly looked at the dozen red scarf bandits rushing towards him. Boom! He took a step forward, and at this moment, the whole world seemed to fall into darkness. A huge star fell from the void, spanning across the sky. Wisps of starlight twined around this star, as if turning the world into a world of stars. It slowly rotated, exuding an ancient, sacred, and chaotic aura. What? The dozen red scarf bandits were not even tens of meters away from Xia Ping. When this star appeared, they immediately felt a terrifying pressure on their bodies, as if they were carrying a 1,000-meter-tall mountain on their shoulders. Bang! 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 Originally, they were still flying in the air, free from gravity. But at this moment, they were like birds without wings, falling one after another, like meteorites, smashing into the ground. Suddenly, the dozen red scarf bandits were like turtles lying on the ground, as if they were carrying a 5-finger mountain on their backs. The ground around them was crushed by more than 10 centimeters. Some of the rocks and crushed stones cracked and shattered on the spot, turning into powder. They struggled with all their might, their faces were red, but they could not stand up at all. They could not even pick up the magic treasures in their hands. They were firmly pressed on the ground. With a poochie sound, some of the weaker red scarf bandits vomited blood. Their lungs were severely injured, and their bones creaked. It seemed as if cracks had appeared on their bones. Their whole body was in terrible pain. What the hell happened? It's so heavy. Damn, what the hell is going on? What did that kid do to us? The group of red scarf bandits were horrified and panic-stricken. At this moment, they felt the terror of this mysterious young man's strength. They could not even get close to him and were crushed on the ground like dead dogs, unable to move. It could be said that this time, they kicked an iron plate. Gravity magic, this kid has mastered a martial art magic related to gravity. The knife-scarred man shouted. He was knowledgeable and immediately knew what he had encountered. Obviously, this mysterious young man had learned a gravity magic and could control the gravity of the world. Such a god art was rare even in the universe, and not everyone could learn it. Most of the god art cultivators could only learn some simple god arts that weren't very powerful. In the face of this powerful martial path mystique, they were completely defenseless. The scar-faced man, on the other hand, was horrified. He had seen a gravity god art before, but he had never seen one so powerful that a god art pinnacle like him couldn't move. Die! Xia Ping indifferently looked at the group of red-scarfed bandits lying on the ground. His killing intent surged and filled the air, causing the scarred man and the others to shiver. At this time, the kid was not afraid of the threat of the laser cannon and killed their people in front of them. He was simply arrogant to the extreme. Rumble. They immediately operated the spaceship's weapon system, locked onto Xia Ping, charged the laser cannon, and immediately fired. Shio! Shio! In an instant, more than 10 laser cannons on the spaceship fired at the same time. Energy blasted over, intersecting with each other, forming a death net that shrouded everything. If hit by the laser cannon, even a god art cultivator would die. Even a mountain would be vaporized. This was the universe's war weapon, invincible. On a primitive planet, such a spaceship was enough to slaughter the planet's primitive humans dozens of times over. Humph. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Since he dared to make a move, it must be foolproof. Those red-scarfed bandits thought that the laser cannon could kill him. Kun Peng step. In an instant, he operated this martial art. His entire body seemed to have turned into a Kun Peng and merged into the void. With just a step forward, he instantly moved dozens of kilometers, dodging all the laser cannons. Dong! Dong! Chapter 12-14. Ha, die, arrogant bastard. He's simply reckless. He actually dared to face the laser cannons of our spaceship. Even if he's a transcendent realm cultivator, he'll be blasted to death with no chance of survival. Serves him right. He dared to kill my brothers. This is the consequence. It's a pity that Hu Laosan and the others died here for no reason. It's such an injustice. On the spaceship, when the laser cannons exploded, many of the red scarf thieves gritted their teeth. They felt inexplicable joy in their hearts. It was rare to be able to kill such a powerful transcendent realm cultivator. However, when they thought of the deaths of Hu Laosan and the others, they were furious. They didn't expect to encounter such inexplicable danger on this primitive planet. Moreover, they died in the hands of such a hothead. It was such an injustice. Oh no, that kid isn't dead yet. Suddenly, someone yelled. Impossible. On the spaceship, many of the red scarf thieves immediately refuted. They felt that it was impossible for someone to survive under the bombardment of more than a dozen laser cannons, even if he was a transcendent realm cultivator. It's true, that kid is right in front. A red scarf thief pointed at the surveillance camera in front of him in horror. Through the spaceship's detection system, they found a living object still floating in the air, looking at them from afar. Everyone looked over and their faces became extremely ugly. Through the spaceship's detection system, they saw Xia Ping standing in the air in the distance, unharmed. Damn, he's really not dead. What happened just now? Why didn't he die? This is too strange. Is the weapon system broken? Many of the Red Scarf thieves felt a trace of panic. If even the laser cannons couldn't kill the other party, then wouldn't they be helpless against this kid? Their companions died in vain. Luck, it's definitely luck. Let's kill him again. I don't believe we can't kill this guy. A Red Scarf thief shouted. He frantically pressed the button to activate the weapon. Shio! 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 Suddenly, dozens of energy rays shot towards Xiaoping. The power was several times stronger than before. However, it was still too slow in front of Xiaoping's Kuanping steps. The time between charging and firing the laser cannons was enough for him to move dozens of kilometers. It was impossible to capture his figure. Perhaps a spaceship's weapon could lock onto his aura and blast him to death, but this spaceship's weapon system was clearly not that powerful. The Red Scarf thieves weren't qualified to own such a weapon system. With a whoosh, Xiaoping's figure appeared on the other side of the spaceship. Bastard! The Red Scarf thief's expression was very ugly. He didn't expect that he wouldn't be able to kill the other party even after firing the laser cannon. This won't do. This brat's speed is too fast. We can't catch his figure at all. Rumble at this moment, the entire spaceship was surrounded by raging flames, and the engine produced an earth-shattering explosion. The spaceship was blown to pieces, as if dozens of nuclear bombs had exploded. Whoosh! Xiaoping's body flickered, and he used the Kuanping steps. His entire body turned into a Kuanping and merged into the void. The surrounding space seemed to turn into ripples. In a few breaths, he had escaped hundreds of kilometers. At this time, the spaceship also exploded, and the raging flames spread. All the Red Scarf thieves in the spaceship were killed in the explosion. Even if some powerful Red Scarf thieves didn't die in the explosion, Xiaoping's deviant flame had spread throughout the spaceship. Under the burning of the deviant flame, even a divine realm cultivator would die. Once touched, the deviant flame wouldn't extinguish until the enemy was burned to ashes. Chapter 12-15. Huh? What is this? Suddenly, Xiaoping scanned with his divine sense and immediately discovered that there seemed to be 5 or 6 silver containers among the wreckage. Even after the explosion just now, they were not damaged. Even the unusual fire couldn't burn these containers. This is a container made of aid metal. Corinne immediately saw what it was. It seems that this group of Red Scarf thieves' spaceship has a lot of good things. They are actually willing to use this kind of container. What is aid metal? Xiaoping asked curiously. Corinne explained, aid metal is a relatively high-grade metal in the universe. It is even harder than the mica steel used to make spaceships. If the unusual fire isn't powerful enough, it can't hurt it at all. Its melting point is extremely high. But this metal is very rare and valuable. A container made of aid metal is also an extremely expensive item. To be able to use this container to carry things, the value must be astonishing. He guessed that this spaceship should be the transport spaceship of the Red Scarf thieves, responsible for transporting precious materials. They accidentally passed by this place and didn't expect to encounter such a disaster. Boom! Hearing these words, Xiaoping suddenly attacked and punched the container. A terrifying force penetrated into the container, but only a fist mark appeared on the container. It wasn't damaged. What a hard container, it's really extraordinary. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. After he advanced to the divine realm, his strength was several times stronger than before. Even the mica steel was punched through by him, but he couldn't punch through this aid metal. One can imagine the hardness of this metal, it's really extraordinary. The corner of Corinne's mouth also twitched. How hard is a deite metal? Ordinary divine power realm cultivators can't injure it in the slightest, let alone punching it. This guy is really abnormal, his strength is too terrifying, he is already invincible in the divine realm. but this container seems to be locked. Without the key, it can't be opened. It seems that we can only go back to Qiankun's sect and find someone to open the lock. Corinne said regretfully. Xia Ping touched his chin. It's okay, I have a way to open it. He immediately summoned the golden slime. Even if this metal is powerful, it is not worth mentioning in front of the golden slime's devouring ability. Slime. The golden slime jumped out and called out. It looked longingly at the container made of aid metal and the spaceship wreckage scattered on the ground. In its eyes, these remains were all delicious food, materials that could help it evolve. Come on, don't stand on ceremony, Xia Ping said. The golden slime nodded and immediately jumped forward. Like a cloud, it swept forward. The aid metals were incapable of escaping the golden slime's demonic claws. Although aid metals were indeed much harder than mica steel, the golden slime was capable of even digesting sacred artifacts. Aid metals were nothing to it. 2 hours later, the containers made of Ade metal were completely devoured. Pa! Immediately, the golden slime burped and spat out everything in the container, pouring it all over the ground. Spatial ring? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He discovered that 5 or 6 spatial rings had fallen out. He guessed that a large amount of resources were stored in these spatial rings. However, in order to protect these spatial rings, they actually took out containers made of aid metal. It was a very grand display, and no one knew what treasures were inside. No way, it's rice. Xia Ping's divine sense seeped in and immediately discovered that these spatial rings stored a large amount of rice, weighing no less than a ton. But each grain was very unusual, like a crystal, emitting an unusual fragrance. Smelling it slightly, the blood vessels in his body seemed to be stirring, containing boundless energy. He took it out and let Corinne distinguish it. Immediately, Corinne's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. This is not ordinary rice, but crystal fragrant rice. Crystal fragrant rice? Xia Ping looked at Corinne. Corinne explained, this is a high-grade food, not something ordinary rice can compare to. It is said that the environment it grows in is very special. It needs to grow on the 9-heaven growing soil, and at the same time, it needs a large number of precious elixirs and vicious beast blood to irrigate day and night. 33 years to grow, 33 years to mature, 33 years to form rice, and it takes nearly 100 years to grow. It is priceless. Just this rice is worth 300 million universe dollars. What? Xia Ping was taken aback. Just this rice was worth 300 million universe dollars. He knew how high the value of universe dollars was. 300 million universe dollars could buy various types of magic weapons and martial arts secret books. But just this rice was worth 300 million universe dollars, it was really too exaggerated. It was no wonder that the group of red scarf thieves were so cautious. After all, if these crystal fragrant rice were stolen, it would be a loss of 300 million universe dollars, and no one could bear this responsibility. What's so great about this rice? Xia Ping asked. From its harsh growing environment, it can be seen how precious this rice is. Corinne said in a deep voice, if you use this rice every day, you can quickly increase your body's magic power and enhance your martial arts aptitude. The most important thing is that there is no side effect, and it can infinitely enhance your body's magic power. No side effect? Xia Ping exclaimed in surprise. He finally understood how precious this rice was. It must be known that medicine has 3 parts poison. Taking a lot of medicinal pills would always make the body develop a resistance. If a certain medicinal pill was taken too much, then it would soon have no effect on the body. But this crystal fragrant rice, no matter how much it was taken, there was no side effect, and it could also quickly enhance your magic power, and even purify your martial arts aptitude. If it was taken for a long time, it would be even worse. That's right. Corinne said, this rice is an essential food in some ancient aristocratic families. Taking a small bowl of it every meal, over time, even a mediocre person will be promoted to a genius, and a genius will be promoted to a peerless genius with infinite potential. No matter how hard they practice every day, they can't overdraw their body's potential. Therefore, the descendants of these ancient aristocratic families progress at lightning speed, which is not something that ordinary people can compare with. I didn't expect that these red scarf thieves would actually be able to find a ton of crystal fragrant rice. I don't know if they robbed from somewhere, or if they have grasped a production base of crystal fragrant rice. Its eyes flickered, revealing a trace of contemplation. Production base? Xia Ping touched his chin. If the other party really grasped a production base of crystal fragrant rice, then perhaps the wealth of the red scarf thieves would be endless. After all, everyone wants to get such precious spirit rice, and every family is scarce. I have to check. Fortunately, this spaceship was not completely destroyed. There are still some spaceship's optical computer chips left behind. If I invade it and search its starry sky route map, perhaps I can find some clues. Chapter 12-16. A few days later. Xia Ping sat cross-legged on top of a mountain, absorbing the sun and moon's spiritual energy. After several days of cultivation, he had finally consolidated his cultivation at the early stage of the transcendent realm and integrated his power. At this moment, his purple mansion had also expanded a lot, reaching a diameter of 2,000 kilometers. It was like a small ocean with turbulent seawater flowing. It could be said that the magic power he possessed was terrifying to the point of having a trace of the infinite mana. With this kind of power, if Xia Ping returned to the heavenly realm, he could sweep through the entire world by himself. The power of one punch would be no less than a nuclear explosion. Even the purple mansion space seemed to have expanded in size, and there seemed to be many more phenomena. There were many stars hanging in the sky, and there were also suns in the sky. There was a sunbird soaring in the sky, a kuanpeng swimming in the sea, a rainbow piercing the sun, a heavenly dragon resting in the deep sea, a divine spear standing on the seabed, a taiji diagram suppressing the void, and so on. Magical talismans appeared in the purple mansion space, emitting magical power all the time. They were independent and did not interfere with each other, but they complemented and influenced each other. As long as Xia Ping willed it, he could instantly burst out the magical power of martial Dao. With his cultivation stabilized, the combat power he could exert was even more tyrannical than when he fought with the Red Scarf bandits. At the same time, his physique was even more terrifying. Once the infernal golden crow body and star body burst out, ordinary spaceships would be smashed into pieces under the impact. Even some young divine beasts were no better than this. Dong! Xia Ping gently stepped on the top of the mountain, and in an instant, a terrifying power burst out. It was like a giant beast awakening from the abyss. The thousands of meters high mountain immediately collapsed, splitting from the middle, and a large number of rocks fell from the surroundings. His whole body also flew up, jumping thousands of meters high. This was not the power of magical power, but the explosive power of his body alone was enough to tear the mountain apart. Even the 108,000 pores on his body were spewing out terrifying essence energy. Strands of them shot out like sniper bullets, instantly tearing apart the surrounding mountains, creating hundreds of thousands of holes. Now, Xia Ping was simply a human killing machine. If he entered the battlefield, he could instantly kill a large number of enemies. Even modern weapons couldn't stop him. The power of the bloodline is also stronger. Xia Ping floated in the air. He clenched his fists and felt the strength of his physique. The most powerful abilities were the awakened Infernal Golden Crow's special abilities, which were the Infernal Golden Crow's right eye, Infernal Golden Crow's wings, Infernal Golden Crow's stomach and Infernal Golden Crow's heart. The awakening of these four types of powers caused the blood in his body to turn into magma. It was a faint gold and black color, seemingly becoming purer and purer. It emitted a primal, ancient, and divine aura. If anyone could drink his blood, an ordinary person's lifespan would be extended by more than 100 years, and they would be free of diseases and disasters for the rest of their lives. If a cultivator drank his blood, they would also increase their magic power and improve their aptitude. It was almost the same as eating a peerless elixir. The legendary Xuanzang meat was probably referring to the current Xia Ping. Of course, the biggest improvement was in Xia Ping's spiritual energy. Boom! He closed his eyes, seemingly forming the heart's eye. His divine sense swept out, covering a radius of 2,000 kilometers in an instant. Within this range, nothing could escape his tracking. Moreover, he could observe everything down to the smallest detail. No illusion could resist the penetrating power of his divine sense. After advancing to the transcendent realm, he had also absorbed a large amount of energy from the soul stone, which greatly improved his soul power. It constantly transformed and became incomparably tough. It was estimated that just the soul power alone had far surpassed that of a transcendent realm cultivator. Even a treasure refining realm cultivator would only be at this level. With a slight movement of his divine sense, it instantly condensed into a long sword. With a dong sound, it bombarded a huge rock in the distance, cutting it into thousands of pieces in an instant. So strong. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. Just the power of his divine sense could tear apart rocks. It could be said that if he wanted to, he could stare an ordinary person to death. Killing with one's eyes open was not an illusion. One day later, after testing his own power, Xia Ping boarded a spaceship and left this primitive planet. As expected of the legendary noble rice, crystal fragrant rice. It is indeed extraordinary. Xia Ping cooked the crystal fragrant rice he obtained from the red scarf thief. When he ate a bowl, he immediately felt that the pearl-like grains of rice melted in his mouth like butter. At the same time, it emitted an enchanting fragrance that filled his mouth and spread to every taste bud in his body. He seemed to feel the breath of spring. At the same time, when the crystal fragrant rice entered his stomach, it was quickly digested by the hell golden crow's stomach and transformed into majestic pure energy that flowed into his limbs and bones. Xia Ping suddenly felt that his body was full of energy. It seemed that the deficit caused by many days of cultivation had been completely made up. His body's potential had also increased a little. Not only did the crystal fragrant rice taste excellent, but it also contained majestic energy. Those medicinal pills could not be compared to the crystal fragrant rice, a grain of heaven and earth. Moreover, it had no side effects and could be consumed at will. It was simply a miraculous thing. Originally, his appetite was very big. He could swallow a dozen cows, a dozen tigers, and even a dozen elephants without a problem. However, after eating 5 or 6 bowls of crystal fragrant rice, he felt a sense of fullness. One could imagine how terrifying the energy contained in the crystal fragrant rice was. It was enough to satisfy any big eater. It was no wonder that some descendants of ancient families could eat a small bowl every day. Even if they wanted to eat more, they would not be able to eat as the energy was too abundant. It's really a good thing. Xia Ping burped and touched his belly, feeling very satisfied. It had been a long time since he had eaten such a delightful dinner. Oh, that's right, Xia Ping. Corinne suddenly jumped out. After several days of continuous decryption, I finally cracked their password and found their voyage records from the chip of the Red Scarf Thieves' spaceship. With a swoosh, he waved his big hand and a starry sky map appeared in midair. Many stars appeared on it. Some of the stars were connected by light rays, showing a starry sky map. From this starry sky map, it can be seen that there are 2 planets among them that they must stop at. Corinne pointed at the starry sky map. One is definitely their lair, the headquarters of the Red Scarf Thieves, and the other is most likely the production base of the crystal fragrant rice. I have checked the existing universe starry sky map, but found that this planet does not seem to have been registered. It is a planet that has not been discovered. This planet is very suspicious. It may be the place where they produce the crystal fragrant rice. Chapter 12:17. There is such a thing. Xia Ping touched his chin, very excited. If he can find the place that produces a lot of crystal rice, then he can get more crystal rice. Even if there is a chance, he can get the seed of crystal rice and produce it himself. If there is a base that produces crystal rice, he can get a steady stream of crystal rice. Most importantly, he and the red scarf thieves have enmity, and they are absolutely irreconcilable. If there is an opportunity, he can find trouble with the red scarf thieves and make them suffer heavy losses. He doesn't mind doing this kind of thing that harms others to benefit himself. But if my guess is true, then this planet must be heavily guarded, and it may be heavily guarded by the red scarf thieves. Corinne said in a deep voice, if you want to sneak in, I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Xia Ping nodded. The red scarf thieves are a somewhat famous space bandit in the universe. They have many experts. Even if he has advanced to the divine power realm, it is impossible for him to break into the other party's lair and cause trouble. If that's the case, won't we have to wait for a long time? Xia Ping frowned. He is not an idiot. Doing something that he is not sure of is courting death. It is reckless, not brave. Since he doesn't have the strength to go in now, he can only wait until he has the strength to go in the future. Not necessarily. Corinne smiled slightly, the myriad stars will be repaired soon. If we rely on the power of the myriad stars, we may be able to easily enter that planet and plunder that group of thieves' lair. It said fiercely. Obviously, it has been infected by Xia Ping's bandit aura and wants to plunder other people's lair at every turn. How long will it take to repair? Xia Ping asked excitedly. If the myriad stars is successfully repaired, he will have a super killer weapon that can attack and defend. According to the progress of the project, it will take about 3 months. Corinne thought for a while and gave an exact deadline. Very well, wait for 3 months, and then we will plunder the red scarf thieves' lair. Xia Ping said with a smile, this time, we must give that group of red scarf thieves some interest. He is looking forward to the action after 3 months. Oh, by the way, there is one more thing I forgot to tell you. It has been more than 10 days since you sold the book 36 Stratagems of Deceit. The first batch of sales data has already come out. Immortal Cat said, previously, you were in a state of closed-door training, so Guillermo looked for you, but I rejected him. However, I am already clear about the specifics. What's wrong? How is the sales? Xia Ping asked. Speaking up to here, Corinne sighed with emotion and said, it's extremely popular, reaching a frightening degree. Although only 10 days have passed, according to Germa's data, 50 million books have already been sold. 50 million books? Xia Ping's pupils contracted. This was indeed an extremely shocking sales figure. One had to know that a book was worth 100 universe credits. What kind of concept was 50 million copies? It was 5 billion universe credits. According to the previous agreement, he could get 70%, which meant that he could get 5 billion universe credits. Who knew how many people would be scared out of their wits if such a figure were to be revealed? Who knew how many people would have to be deceived in order to obtain such a shocking amount of money? Looks like we've struck it rich this time. Xia Ping said excitedly. It is indeed a great profit. After hearing this amount, Corinne was simply stunned. Even if he had lived for who knows how many thousands of years, and was still together with the sage, how could he not know? However, he had never seen anyone earn money so easily. Just writing a book had earned him 5 billion universe dollars. If it was an ordinary universe martial artist, they would have to kill many fierce beasts, pick many elixirs, and refine many magic weapons to have the opportunity to earn so much money. Moreover, those martial artists would have to go through fire and water, risking their lives. But now, Xia Ping had just written a book, and he had obtained an income that ordinary people could not obtain in their lifetime. It could only be said that this kind of thing was too exaggerated and simply unimaginable. If the interstellar bandits knew that Xia Ping had so much money on him, perhaps they would flock to him. Moreover, this was only 10 days of sales. Although the peak period had passed, according to Germa's estimates, he might be able to sell another 50 million books, and perhaps the final sales volume could reach 100 million books. If so, according to the agreement, Xia Ping might get 7 billion universe credits. This was an astronomical amount of money, and becoming rich overnight was nothing more than this. Has the money arrived? Xia Ping asked. Corinne nodded his head. It has already been transferred to the account, the next payment may be next month. Xia Ping nodded. It didn't matter if it was late by a month. In any case, he would get it soon. That's right, there is one more thing I need to tell you. Corinne looked at Xia Ping. Recently, a top-notch auction was held on the Blackwood Starfield's Barker planet. There are all kinds of rare treasures being auctioned there. Perhaps you can go to the auction to buy some treasures. Xia Ping knew that the Qiankuan sect ruled a total of 6 major planets, including the Blazing Sun star field, the Blackwood star field, the Greystone star field, the Golden Light star field, the Blue Water star field, the Red Earth star field, and so on. The Blackwood star field was also one of them. As for the Barker planet, it was one of the most famous commercial planets in the Blackwood star field. It was known as the economic, political, and cultural center of the Blackwood star field. Creatures from the nearby dozen or so star fields would go to the Barker planet to do business. All kinds of rare treasures from the depths of the universe would appear there. Thus, it attracted many powerful martial artists. From time to time, top-notch auctions would appear on that planet. All kinds of pills, elixirs, and magic weapons would often appear there. It was said that someone had once auctioned a sage artifact. What treasures are there? Xia Ping asked. He knew that Corinne would never speak without thinking. Since he had mentioned this matter, there must be treasures suitable for him. The Skynet system, Corinne said in a deep voice. This is a super weapon system that can be expanded to 100 light-years away. It is almost one of the most advanced technological crystallization of mankind. It is infinitely powerful. It is said that under the coverage of the Skynet system and controlled by the photon computer, no enemy within 100 light-years will be able to hide. It can be said to be the best surveillance weapon system. Moreover, it also has the power to isolate signals. If the enemy enters the coverage of the Skynet system, no signal can be transmitted. Even if they want to log into the virtual network, it will be impossible. With this Skynet system, the existence of the cloud continent can be concealed and won't be discovered by other enemies. Of course, apart from surveillance, its destructive power is also extremely terrifying. It is composed of all kinds of prism mirrors and can project all kinds of energy rays within the coverage of the Skynet system. Only one attack is needed to destroy a spaceship. Even if tens of thousands of space battleships attack at the same time, they will be destroyed. The Skynet system can be said to be a super weapon system that integrates both offense and defense. It is very valuable. Chapter 12-18. So powerful? How much is it? Xia Ping was moved. If this Skynet was installed on the cloud continent, then no matter how many space battleships the Red Scarf pirates sent, they would be instantly sunk. The cloud continent would also become his extremely safe lair, and he wouldn't have to worry about being attacked by enemies. The starting price is 5 billion universe dollars. Corinne said. 5 billion universe dollars. Xia Ping was taken aback. He didn't think it was too much, but too little because such a super weapon system was worth at least 10 billion universe dollars. Now it was only 5 billion universe dollars, which was too little. It was like giving it away for free. This Skynet used to be the defense system of the Universal Machine Kingdom's capital planet. It was always safe and no one dared to attack it. Corinne explained, Unfortunately, the Universal Machine Kingdom unintentionally offended a saint, causing the saint to be furious. As a result, the saint blew up the capital planet with a blow from a distance. After suffering such a blow, the Universal Machine Kingdom collapsed and was annexed by other forces. Therefore, this Skynet was taken out for auction. Saints were really terrifying. Xia Ping didn't expect the Skynet to be so powerful that it couldn't even withstand a blow from a saint. However, it was impossible for the Cloud Continent to offend a saint. A saint was so high and mighty that they didn't even have the chance to meet one. Of course, if one offended one, they could only run away or close their eyes and wait for death. He obtained the Skynet only to guard against other space bandits or forces with ulterior motives. Therefore, the Skynet's defense power was absolutely enough. It was absolutely invincible under the saint level. But even so, this weapon system can't be so cheap, Xia Ping asked, puzzled. Corinne smiled faintly. To be honest, this weapon system is actually of little value in the universe. Super forces with such financial resources actually have a more powerful weapon system, various restriction formations, and various natural killing formations. I'm afraid even a saint can be killed, so a mere Skynet is nothing. Some weak forces can't take out such money at all. For them, 100 million universe dollars is an astronomical figure. They can't take out 10 billion universe dollars even if you beat them to death. In fact, this Skynet has been taken out for auction several times, but every time it was unsold. No one was willing to be a spendthrift, so the starting price was lowered again and again. Xia Ping nodded. He also understood this logic. The Skynet system, as a weapon system, was actually not very useful for improving an individual's strength. It was very useful for some forces and organizations. After all, it could only be fixed in one place. If it didn't have a nest, it would be useless to buy it. With the money, it would be better to buy other natural treasures to increase one's strength. Therefore, there were very few people who needed this weapon system and had the financial ability to buy it. It was normal for it to be unsold several times. But I have at most 4 billion universe credits on me. If I want to buy it, I'm afraid I can't afford it. Xia Ping said in a low voice. Previously, he had 590 million universe dollars, plus the 3.5 billion universe dollars he got from selling the book. He only had 490 million universe dollars on him. He was at least 1 billion short. Corinne faintly smiled. Did you forget? You are a VIP of the Universe Bank, and you also have 4 billion universe dollars in savings. Your credit value has increased greatly. Your current loan limit from the Universe Bank is 10 billion. It held up a finger. Alright, let's head to Barker Planet immediately. Xia Ping made a prompt decision. If he missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one. He would borrow some money to buy the Skynet system and solve his worries. Money can be earned again, but if his family is gone, then it's really gone. Therefore, this was the first problem to be solved. Once he bought the Skynet system, he could wander the universe without worries. He wouldn't have to worry about being attacked by the Red Scarf thieves at any time. In the depths of the universe, there was a distant planet. The planet was surrounded by tens of thousands of spaceships. It was like a natural fortress, like a ferocious monster. These spaceships had the Red Scarf symbol on them. This place was impressively the Red Scarf thieves' lair. At this moment, in a huge warship's conference room, many Red Scarf thieves' high-level leaders appeared. The atmosphere of the meeting was very solemn. The Red Scarf thieves guarding outside the conference room didn't even dare to breathe loudly, for fear of angering these big shots. What the hell is going on? There hasn't been any news from Hulausan's spaceship until now. What happened? A leader cursed. Do you know that there is crystal fragrant rice worth 300 million universe dollars on that spaceship? If something happens, it will be a loss of 300 million. A full 300 million, do you know? Even for the rich and imposing red scarf thieves, 300 million was a huge number. According to the current information, the signal of Old Third Who's spaceship has completely disappeared. It is estimated to be completely destroyed. An old man said in a deep voice. Destroyed? Who did it? Which dog thief would dare to touch our red scarf thieves' people? A leader was very angry. His eyes were spitting fire. We can't find out. The distance is too far. At present, we only know that Old Third Who and the others were destroyed on some primitive planet. There is no other information. The elder shook his head, indicating that the current information was too little. They even sent people to the planet where the accident happened to check, but nothing was left. Not even the wreckage of the spaceship was found. There were only some traces of destruction, which proved that there was a tragic battle there. What should we do? An elder said with a serious expression, 300 million universe dollars is nothing. The important thing is our deal with those big families. Now that the crystal fragrant rice worth 300 million has disappeared, we have no goods to give to them. If those big families get angry and think that we broke the deal, we red scarf thieves will probably be destroyed. He felt that this was the main point. Compared to offending those ancient families, losing 300 million universe dollars was a small matter. Not being able to hand over the goods was a big matter. Hearing these words, the leaders present all had a serious expression. They also knew that this was no small matter. There is no other way. We can only mobilize crystal fragrant rice from all over the place. We absolutely cannot allow this deal to be ruined. This time, there must be no accidents. The red scarf thief leader said in a deep voice, full of killing intent. He was very angry about the loss of the red scarf thieves this time. However, no matter how angry he was, he could only complete this deal first. Otherwise, offending those ancient families was no joke. Compared to those ancient families that had existed for God knows how many years, the red scarf thieves were still too young. Yes, leader. A spaceship quietly arrived at the port of Barker Planet, and Xia Ping also disembarked from the spaceship. This is Barker Planet? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and looked at the planet. Countless spaceships flew in and out of this place. It was even more lively than Heaven and Earth Star. All kinds of races appeared here. After all, Heaven and Earth Star was an important place of the Heaven and Earth sect. It was heavily guarded, and ordinary people wouldn't come to Heaven and Earth Star for no reason. Those who lived on Heaven and Earth Star were basically disciples of the Heaven and Earth sect. However, Barker Planet was different. It was a commercial planet that gathered a huge amount of goods. Countless merchants from various races who wanted to trade here would come. Therefore, this caused Barker Planet to be far more lively than Heaven and Earth Star. Descendants of various large families, members of the royal family, and even feudal vassals would come to this place. Where is the auction? Xia Ping didn't care about the surrounding scenery. This time, he came mainly to participate in the auction. According to Corinne, this auction was organized by the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company. This auction company was very famous throughout the universe, and its branches could be found in every corner of the universe. It could be said that this company's reputation was extremely good. Even saints had auctioned many rare items at this company. Therefore, once this company launched an auction, many good things would definitely appear. This time, it also attracted countless local tycoons from the 6 major starfields who were interested in the treasures of the auction. The auction should be held in the central area of Barker City, the largest city on Barker Planet, Corinne said. We just happen to be parked at the port of Barker City. As long as we take a taxi, we should be able to arrive very quickly. Whoosh! 10 minutes later, Xia Ping took a taxi and directly arrived at the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company's building. This place was basically the most prosperous and lively place in Barker Planet. Once he got out of the taxi, he saw that many experts from various races in the universe had appeared here. Moreover, all of them had powerful chi and blood. At the very least, their cultivation was at the theurgy realm. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, many figures descended from the sky and arrived in front of the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company's building. Xia Ping could faintly hear the voices of these people talking. Today is the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company's annual auction. It is said that many rare treasures will appear in this auction. This time, I came to participate in this auction, hoping to buy a few fire lava stones so that I can successfully condense a fire-type theurgy and greatly increase my strength. Fire lava stone. This is a rare treasure.
It is said that it only appears on stars and contains pure fire energy. If I can absorb a few pieces, there is indeed a 50% chance that I can condense a fire-type theurgy. I actually want to buy a low-grade flying sword. This will greatly increase my lethality. Killing wild beasts will be as easy as chopping melons and vegetables. I hope the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company will not disappoint me. Medicinal pills are the most important. I want to buy some yin-yang pills. They can quickly condense spiritual energy and save me a lot of effort in absorbing chi of heaven and earth. Those disciples of the saint-class sects are so cool. They don't need to spend much effort, and they can get a large number of medicinal pills to help them. But us itinerant cultivators, we have to work hard and spend a lot of money. We also have to rely on our connections to buy them. Comparing ourselves to others is really infuriating. Sigh, now you are talking about it. It is said that this auction is unprecedentedly grand and has attracted countless important people. Some descendants of ancient families, elders of large sects, and even princes of some kingdoms will appear. With these rich and imposing people appearing, if there is a vicious bidding war, I'm afraid we won't even get to drink any soup. Don't worry, there are so many items being auctioned this time. Don't tell me those important people are going to clean out all the treasures. There will definitely be some soup for us itinerant cultivators to drink. I hope so.
Chapter 1220. Xia Ping stood at the side and listened to their conversation. He felt that the auction this time was indeed grand. Many people were attracted here to participate in the auction. He hoped that there wouldn't be any trouble this time. Moreover, his main purpose here was to bid for the Skynet system. Although the previous few auctions had failed, who knew if someone would bid against him this time, causing the price to rise. Therefore, he had to think of a way to solve this problem. It had to be foolproof. His eyes flickered, revealing a hint of shrewdness. Look, the Green Bull Sect's elder is here. At this moment, someone exclaimed. They immediately saw an old man flying over on a flying sword. He wore a Taoist robe with a green bull embroidered on the back and a gourd at his waist. He exuded a powerful aura. The moment this person appeared, he seemed to have the aura to suppress everyone present. Oh my God, I didn't expect the Green Bull Sect's elder to come as well. The Green Bull Sect is one of the major sects second only to the Heaven and Earth Sect. They have over 100 million disciples and this elder is at least at the Golden Elixir realm. His strength is simply unfathomable. The group of people discussed and looked at the Green Bull Sect's elder with respect. Xia Ping knew that in the 6 major starfields ruled by the Heaven and Earth Sect, although it was the largest Saint-tier sect, the territory it ruled was simply too large. A single sect couldn't manage it perfectly. Therefore, there would be sects of various sizes appearing in the 6 major starfields. They were scattered in various corners of the 6 major starfields and had their own territories. They only needed to pay tribute to the Heaven and Earth Sect every year. To the ordinary people of the 6 major starfields, the Heaven and Earth Sect was a high and mighty sect. Those who were above the clouds couldn't come into contact with them at all. These smaller sects were the ones they mainly came into contact with. They were like local tyrants. The Green Bull sect's elder also heard the words of the people around him, but he didn't mind at all. He directly strode into the building and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. However, the appearance of the Green Bull sect's elder was only the beginning. A short moment later, streaks of light appeared in the sky. Some walked through the air, some rode on flying ships, some rode on flying swords, and some rode on strange beasts. All of them wore luxurious clothes, and their strength was unfathomable as they arrived. Look, quickly. That's an elder of the Blazing Tiger sect. It's another Golden Core expert. That's nothing. The elders of the Black Rhino sect, River sect, Yellow River sect, and other sects have all appeared. These sects have over 100 million disciples, and their sect master's strength is unfathomable. They might have reached the Transcendence realm. Oh my god, isn't that the eldest prince of the Norton Kingdom? I've seen him on TV before, but I didn't expect him to come as well. Looking at his entourage, it's really frightening. As expected of the Wang family, even the guards around him are terrifying. Whoever dares to approach will definitely be hacked to death. Wang family, the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Jebi, has also appeared. It's said that this Wang family rules over 36 planets and is overflowing with wealth. Looks like he's determined to win this time. The surrounding people all exclaimed in surprise. They felt that the number of big shots they had seen today was more than the number of big shots they had seen in their entire lives. In front of these big shots, no one dared to breathe loudly. Those big shots didn't care about the exclamations of the people around them. They walked in confidently and quickly entered the auction site. Wait, the direct descendant of the Qian family, Qian Shan, is also here. All of a sudden, someone yelled. In the distance, 9 flying dragons immediately flew over, pulling a dazzling golden carriage behind them. The carriage spanned across the void, covering the sky and the sun. A terrifying aura filled the surroundings. These 9 flying dragons bared their fangs, and each of them looked ferocious. It was said that they were ferocious beasts that had appeared on some barbaric planet. They contained a trace of the dragon race's bloodline and were extremely strong. They were invulnerable, and one of them could destroy more than 10 small space battleships. But now, they had actually been tamed and used as horses to pull a carriage. One could imagine the shock of the surrounding people. Dong! At this moment, the carriage landed on the empty ground, stirring up a strong gust of wind. Some of the people nearby were directly blown away by the strong wind and smashed into the nearby walls. The impact caused them to vomit blood, and their lungs were severely injured. The ground was also trampled by dozens of cracks, and cracking sounds could be heard. The scene was shocking. Damn it! Instantly, some people were furious. They felt that this person was too arrogant, and unscrupulous. He actually dared to injure people on the street without considering the feelings of others. But before these people could act, they were immediately pulled back by their companions. Are you crazy? Do you know who this person is? This is the direct descendant of the Qian family, Qian Shan. Have you heard of the Qian family? They are the ancient family that rules over this Barker planet. They have existed for 30,000 years, and their strength is unfathomable. They are comparable to large sects like the Green Bull sect. And this generation's Qian family head, Qian Ba, is even more talented. He has already reached the lightning tribulation realm. Once he passes the lightning tribulation, it is very likely that he will step into the realm of sages. At that time, they will be a sage family. Therefore, the Qian family has been very arrogant and despotic in recent years, but no one dares to provoke them. He firmly grabbed his companion's arm, preventing him from acting rashly. So what if he is at the lightning tribulation realm? In the entire universe, there are many powerhouses that can reach the lightning tribulation realm, but only 1 in a trillion can become a sage. Most of them either die in meditation or are struck to death by the lightning tribulation. If sages can become sages so easily, there wouldn't be so few of them. That person gritted his teeth. He was clearly very unwilling. Shut up. His companion covered his mouth tightly. Do you want to be annihilated by the Qian family? Previously, there was a prince of a small country who spoke rudely to the Qian family. In the end, the prince was annihilated by the Qian family in a few months. That small country ruled over tens of planets, but they were all annihilated by the Qian family. There were hundreds of thousands of descendants of that country's royal family, and not a single one of them escaped. The men were killed, and the women were captured to become prostitutes. They will be slaves for generations to come. It's fine if you want to seek death, but don't implicate your family. Hearing this, that person no longer dared to speak. He was so scared that his face turned pale. The others were also scared half to death, and they all lowered their heads. The Qian family's name was very famous on Barker Planet. Who dared to provoke them? There were people who dared to provoke them, but they were all annihilated. 9 generations of their families were killed, and not even a chicken or dog was spared. However, that Qian Shan did not seem to notice the voices of the people around him. To a major character like him, these minor characters were like ants, like weeds. He did not need to pay any attention to them. Swoosh! He alighted from the carriage, and over 10 servants followed behind him as he strolled into the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company. Even though he was a descendant of the Qian family, he still did not dare to show any disrespect to this famous auction company. After all, this company was said to have the backing of a sage. Very soon, these people from the Qian family disappeared from everyone's sight, and the carriage was arranged to stop at another place. It's time. Xia Ping watched from the side as many people entered. He also walked toward this building. Chapter 12:21. I'm sorry, sir. The black uniformed security guard looked at Xia Ping. May I ask if you have an invitation? If you don't, you won't be able to attend this auction. Please leave quickly. His eyes revealed a look of disdain, obviously looking down on Xia Ping. This was because Xia Ping didn't look like a rich and imposing nouveau riche. He didn't look like someone who could attend the auction. After all, those who came to the auction were either old monsters with high cultivation or children of rich families. Their travel methods were also different from ordinary people. The strong ones flew on their swords with a terrifying aura. The weaker ones would also come riding on exotic beasts, and they would also bring many followers with them. It was a majestic sight. This was the style of a nouveau riche. Who would come alone like Xia Ping? Moreover, he saw that this kid came in a taxi alone. One could imagine that this guy was just a pauper. How could he have the right to attend this top-notch auction? I can't go in without an invitation. What's wrong with those people? They don't have an invitation either. Xia Ping expressed that Qian Shan and the others could go in but he couldn't. Those people are all famous big shots. They've long been registered with our auction company. We just need to show our faces. Of course, we don't need an invitation. As for you, Although the black uniformed security guard didn't say the rest of his words due to professional rules, his disdain was obvious. The other security guards also looked at Xia Ping with disdain. It seemed like if Xia Ping did anything inappropriate, they would beat him out of this place. A poor kid wants to go to the auction. Is he crazy? Without money, what's the point of going in and staring? I think he just wants to go in and broaden his horizons. He might even be able to brag to his friends. If he has this kind of time, why doesn't he go cultivate? Isn't it better to do some proper work? The surrounding people discussed and looked at Xia Ping with disdain. Really? Can't I have this? Xia Ping took out a bank card. It was the Universe Bank's VIP card. He immediately threw it in front of the black uniformed security guard. What is this? The black uniformed security guard stared blankly at the black card. There were special patterns on it, and it emitted a noble, mysterious, and ancient aura. Clearly, it was no ordinary item. But his knowledge was shallow, so he couldn't tell what it was. Idiot! At this moment, an old man in a white robe walked out and immediately cursed, "This is the Universe Bank's VIP card. The person who has it has at least $2 billion universe dollars in assets. This is an esteemed guest of our Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company, hurry up and invite him in." He turned to Xia Ping and said respectfully, "I'm a manager of the Universe Vast Seas Auction Company. My name is Bai Bei. These guards don't know any better. I hope you won't blame them." His attitude was very humble. After all, the other party was an important person who had the Universe Bank's VIP card. Even the upper management of their branch company didn't have the qualifications to get one. One could imagine how noble this identity was. What? Everyone around was shocked, and their bodies couldn't help but tremble. The Universe Bank's VIP card had at least $2 billion universe dollars in assets. Every piece of information on it shocked them to the core. Even a small family's assets probably wouldn't exceed $1 billion universe dollars. But this kid alone had more than $2 billion universe dollars. That was way too exaggerated. What's more, this kid looked very young. He didn't start from scratch at all. Without a doubt, this kid was the heir of some ancient family. Otherwise, how could he have so much money and become a Universe Bank's VIP? The black uniformed security guard was scared to the point of peeing his pants. His whole body was shaking. Before, he looked down on this poor kid. But now, he had become an earth-shattering big shot. It was a VIP card that required at least 2 billion universe credits. This was a huge amount of wealth that he could never imagine in his entire life. Such a big shot could probably kill him with a single breath. A casual word from him would cause hundreds of people to take care of him. To offend such a big shot, his little life was frozen. "Then can I go in?" Xia Ping ignored the black uniformed security guard. He took back the Universe Bank's VIP card and stood with his hands behind his back. "Of course, if Mr. can't go in, then no one can." Manager Bai Bei immediately said. These were the various privileges of becoming a Universe Bank's VIP. Because the Universe Bank had business dealings with all the major companies in the universe, becoming a Universe Bank's VIP meant becoming a VIP of other companies. No one dared to slack off. Otherwise, if the Universe Bank found out that other companies slacked off their company's VIP, they would probably be blacklisted. At that time, their company would definitely suffer huge losses. "Lead the way." Xia Ping waved his hand. "Yes, Mr. Manager Bai Bei immediately led the way. Soon, the two of them disappeared at the door. My God, that black card was the Universe Bank's VIP card? Unbelievable. I've heard about this on the internet before. But I've never seen it. Now I've actually seen it in person." Someone exclaimed. It requires at least 2 billion universe dollars to get a VIP card. Even some descendants of ancient families might not be able to get one. Because it tests your personal wealth and potential. Not everyone from an ancient family has the qualifications. A group of people were jealous and envious. This was wealth they could never imagine in their entire lives. Who would have thought that such a big shot would be so low-key? And he's even a black card holder. I wonder which ancient family he comes from. If he's not a direct descendant of an ancient family, he wouldn't have this kind of bearing. Someone guessed. Quite a few people nodded. Which descendant of a normal family didn't have an entourage around them when they went out? To have this kind of ability and still be low-key meant that the family was extremely well educated. Unless it was a super family, they wouldn't be able to cultivate this kind of bearing. The more they thought back to the scene just now, the more they realized how extraordinary Xia Ping was. That security guard is dead for sure. He actually dared to offend a black card holder. Will he still be alive? He probably won't live to see tomorrow's sun. This is what happens when you look down on people. Fuck. Luckily, I didn't say anything to mock him. Otherwise, I'd be like that security guard. The surrounding people were all amazed. The appearance of the black card gave them a huge shock. They all thought that the black uniformed security guard was going to be in big trouble this time. This. The black uniformed security guard really wanted to slap himself. His entire body was trembling. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. If he knew that this seemingly poor young man had such a shocking background, he wouldn't have dared to say those words even if he was beaten to death. Chapter 12:22. Not long later, Xia Ping was brought upstairs. It was an individual room, 100 square meters in area. It had a coffee table, sofa, and all sorts of expensive food. The decoration was very luxurious. There were even beautiful maids and manager by Bei waiting on the side. Outside the window was a plaza. It was like a concert, stacked layer by layer. At this moment, every seat was filled. There were at least 10,000 people. They were all quietly waiting for the auction to begin. And Xia Ping was a Universe Bank VIP card holder, equivalent to a Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company VIP. Therefore, he had his own VIP seat and didn't need to sit with others. What treasures are being auctioned this time? Xia Ping asked Manager Bai Bei. Sir. Manager Bai Bei immediately said, there are 3 main treasures for the finale this time. The first is the Sacred Level Secret Manual, Lightning Fist. It is said that this is a secret manual left behind by an ancient saint who controlled the great Tao of thunder. After mastering it, one can control the power of thunder. Moreover, the speed of one's fist is extremely fast and invincible. When one reaches a high level, one punch will be like lightning and can even reach the speed of light. The starting price of this secret manual is 100 million universe dollars. He held up a finger. Xia Ping's eyes flickered. Saint Class Secret Manual Lightning Fist. This was a secret manual related to lightning. If he got it, he would probably be able to control a good martial art ability. Unfortunately, in order to buy the Heaven's Net, he might not be able to get it. But if he had the chance, he wouldn't mind buying it. The second is the Saint Weapon Shard. Manager Bai Bei continued, this is a shard of a saint weapon found in a certain universe ruin. It was a saint weapon of a saint that was broken in a great battle and left behind. This shard contains the imprint of the Tao. It is very beneficial to cultivators. If you can comprehend it, you might have a 10% chance of breaking through. The starting price is 500 million universe dollars. Xia Ping nodded. If it was a complete saint weapon, of course it wouldn't cost that much. But it was just a shard. The power of the saint weapon was still very little. The starting price of 500 million wasn't too exaggerated. The last item is the most expensive. It's a super weapon, Heaven's Net. It's suitable to be installed in one's cave or home. Once it's installed, even a lightning tribulation realm powerhouse wouldn't dare barge in. The starting price is 5 billion universe dollars. Manager Bai Bei said solemnly. However, the price of this weapon system was simply too high. Basically, not many people could afford it. It had failed to be auctioned off several times, so he wasn't very confident in the success of this auction. Clang at this moment, a crisp bell rang out in the middle of the venue, resounding through the surrounding space. The auction has begun, Manager Bai Bei immediately said. Xia Ping immediately looked out of the window. In the center of the square, there was a huge altar. Armored soldiers appeared on the altar, and the defense was tight. Immediately, this row of soldiers carried out a black box. The top was opened, revealing a 1-meter-long blood-colored piece of godly iron. Instantly, it emitted endless baleful blood chi and Gungjin chi. Blood Sun Steel. Steward by Bei introduced, it contains strong golden hepta chi and pure yang chi, which is very suitable for martial artists who practice metal attribute martial arts. If you absorb the golden hepta chi inside, you will get twice the result with half the effort. Even if you don't use it for cultivation, it's also a good material for crafting spiritual weapons. It's extremely hard. The starting price is 100,000 universe dollars, and each increment is at least 1,000 universe dollars. Xia Ping touched his chin. This piece of blood sun steel was very suitable for him. He could auction it off as food for golden slimes. Once this piece of blood sun steel appeared, it instantly attracted many people's attention. As expected of the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company. This is only the first auction item, and there's already blood sun steel. I cultivate a flying sword ability, and I need blood sun steel to cultivate. If I speed up the cultivation of this sword ability, it can at least increase the power of my sword techniques by 30%. I'm a blacksmith master, and I need this piece of blood sun steel to forge weapons. I can't miss out on such a good material. I have to auction it off. Immediately, a group of people became restless, wanting to bid for this piece of blood sun steel. At this moment, an old man in a white robe walked out from the altar. He was the supervisor of the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company. His name was Tan Ming, and he was in charge of this auction. Without further ado, the auction will begin now. Supervisor Tan Ming immediately took a small hammer and knocked on the table. Blood Sun Steel, starting price 100,000 universe dollars. Before the surrounding people could start bidding, Xia Ping immediately said, I want this piece of Blood Sun Steel, 1 million universe dollars. What? Originally, the group of people was excited and wanted to bid for this piece of Blood Sun Steel. However, when they heard this amount, they were instantly shocked. All of them looked towards the VIP room where Xia Ping was. Fuck, 1 million universe dollars. Is this guy crazy? Hearing this price, a tanned man almost breathed his last in anger. He stared angrily at the room where Xia Ping was. This piece of blood sun steel's starting price was only 100,000 universe dollars, but this guy raised the price by 10 times. Even if he had money, he shouldn't spend it like this. It was too much. Crazy, this guy is completely crazy. Are we still going to buy it? Are we going to bid or not? Bid your ass. 1 million universe dollars. This piece of blood sun steel is at most worth 200,000 universe dollars. 1 million universe dollars can buy at least 5 pieces of the same value. Only a fool would spend 1 million universe dollars on this piece of steel. You have so much money that you don't know where to spend it. This bastard is crazy. Don't be crazy with him. Fuck, another prodigal has appeared. He doesn't even treat money as money. Many people started cursing. Xia Ping had raised the price to a level that they couldn't accept. Although manager Bai Bei was an employee of the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company, he was also shocked by this price. He couldn't help but say, Sir, isn't this price too high? He felt that Xia Ping was like a sucker at this moment. It's fine. Money can't buy a good heart. Spending 1 million to buy a piece of steel is satisfying. Xia Ping revealed a look of wealth and arrogance. Hearing this, the few beautiful maids in the room all looked at Xia Ping with eyes full of affection. This was definitely the descendant of some super family. Otherwise, how could he have such terrifying wealth? 1 million universe dollars was thrown out just like that. He didn't even blink. If they could win the favor of this young master, they would have no worries for the rest of their lives. They might even be able to marry into a rich family. Damn it. So what if he's rich? Chapter 12:23. Without a doubt, no one was willing to spend $1 million universe dollars for a piece of blood sun metal. Therefore, manager Tan Ming made the final decision and sold it to Xia Ping. To the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company, this was great news. It could have been sold for 200,000 universe dollars, but now the price had soared to $1 million universe dollars. This was like a pie falling from the sky. Okay, let's start the second item. Manager Tan Ming struck while the iron was hot. He immediately said, "This is a 1,000-year-old spirit herb, star anise mysterious ice grass. It grows in extremely cold places and has amazing medicinal effects. Consuming it can save God power states over 10 years of cultivation. This is a rare spirit herb and is extremely rare. It is especially suitable for martial artists who cultivate ice-type divine abilities. If it wasn't for the fact that the person who obtained this spirit herb was short of money, he definitely wouldn't have taken it out for auction. This is a rare opportunity. Its starting bid is 500,000 universe dollars." Immediately, a guard brought the star anise mysterious ice grass to the table. Many people immediately saw a crystal-like spirit herb placed on the table. As soon as it appeared, it emitted an extremely cold aura. Everyone near the altar couldn't help but shiver. Their teeth seemed to be chattering. Star anise mysterious ice grass. I didn't expect such a rare spirit herb to appear. I cultivate an ice god art, dark cold palm. I just happen to need this star anise mysterious ice grass to condense the extreme cold chi in my body. I must get this. This is a good spirit herb. If I can use this star anise mysterious ice grass as the main ingredient, I can concoct many pills. Many people were tempted by this spirit herb. Some martial artists who cultivated ice god art had heated eyes. They wanted to snatch this spirit herb for themselves. But just then, Xia Ping spoke, "Star anise mysterious ice grass, not bad spirit herb. I want it. 2 million universe dollars." As soon as this was said, everyone was shocked. All of them raised their heads and looked at the VIP room where Xia Ping was, astonished beyond words. Fuck, this son of a bitch. Is he going to let people bid? Although the star anise mysterious ice grass is not bad, how can it be worth 2 million universe dollars? Raising the price 5 times in one go. This bastard is crazy. Can he be so willful just because he has money? This is too much. Which family is this prodigal son from? He must be here to squander today. With 2 million universe dollars, he can buy a better elixir than the star anise mysterious ice grass. Why is he here to be a fool? The group of people gritted their teeth. They were already very unhappy when they bought the blood yang metal previously. Now, they were doing the same thing again when they were auctioning the star anise mysterious ice grass. They were simply looking down on them. What are you shouting for? Don't come to the auction if you don't have money. Hearing these words, Xia Ping immediately shouted, "I have money, so what if I am willing? If you have the guts, then use money to hit me. If you are not convinced, then bid with me. What are you doing here? It's just 2 million universe credits, which is the price of a meal. If you don't know anything, then don't come out and embarrass yourself." He had an arrogant and despotic look on his face. He looked down on everyone present and directly fired a shot across the map. What? When the people at the venue heard these words, they were all furious. If this was not the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company, where there were guards everywhere and no one dared to move recklessly, they would have rushed up to beat Xia Ping up. He's too arrogant. Which family's young master is this? You can be so arrogant and look down on others just because you have money. Which one of us here isn't a powerful person? Which one of us isn't an elder of a sect? Or a feudal lord? Or someone from the royal family? This kid actually dares to look down on us. Who does he think he is? Ah, I can't take this lying down. I really want to kill this bastard. Everyone was gritting their teeth in anger. You're still shouting here. Why isn't anyone bidding with me? If you have the guts, I will compete with you. You think you are invincible just because you boast, but you are powerless when it comes to doing things. Are you all cowards? Xia Ping said in disdain and continued to provoke them. Many people were so angry that smoke was coming out of their nostrils. However, although they were all very angry, they did not lose their rationality. After all, 2 million universe credits was still too much. After thinking about it carefully, they still could not bear to take out this sum of money to fight with this hedonistic rich kid. After all, if this bastard suddenly did not want to auction it anymore, then wouldn't they have to spend a few million to buy the star anise mysterious ice grass? By then, their faces would turn green. They did not want to be suckers. Soon, because no one was bidding, the star anise mysterious ice grass was sold to Xia Ping for 2 million universe credits. Alright, let's start the auction for the third item. Supervisor Tan Ming was extremely excited at this moment. It seemed like the money earned from this auction would be much more than before. With this shit stirrer in this place, the auction price would definitely be even more terrifying than before. This item is extremely mysterious. It was obtained by an adventurer from some secret realm in the universe. It's a pearl made of unknown materials. It's impenetrable by swords and spears, and it's shockingly tough. It might have been a superior grade spirit weapon in the past. However, because of a huge battle, the weapon's spirit was killed, leaving behind only an empty shell. Its grade has also dropped to the level of a superior grade treasure weapon. If anyone is able to repair the weapon's spirit, they might be able to upgrade it to a superior grade spirit weapon. By then, they would definitely earn a lot. Its starting price is 800,000 universe credits. At this moment, a black pearl was placed on the altar table. However, it was chipped, and there were even over 10 cracks on it. It emitted a strange aura, and there were many ancient patterns engraved on it. Obviously, this pearl had experienced an extremely intense battle, which caused it to be severely damaged. What? The weapon spirit has been killed, so what's the use? The auction company is really crazy about money. What's the use of a treasure like this? That's right. The weapon spirit has been killed, and its spirituality is extinguished. This means that the treasure is useless. Although there's a sliver of a chance that the weapon spirit can be restored, it's a 1 in a billion chance. It's no different from winning the lottery. 800,000 universe credits is too expensive. 80,000 universe credits can be considered. Many people shook their heads, feeling that the price of this treasure was too high. In reality, this black pearl had been auctioned by the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company a few times, but it was never sold. However, they couldn't bear to sell it at a low price. Therefore, they kept bringing it up for auction, hoping that a spendthrift would buy it. What's this? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. His left eye, the infernal golden crow's eye, began to revolve. There seemed to be a ball of flame rising, emitting a mysterious power. When he saw this black pearl, the infernal golden crow's eye seemed to react. It could feel that this pearl was unintentionally emitting a primal aura. Chapter 12:24. 3 million universe dollars. Xia Ping called out, instantly raising the price by 3 to 4 times. As soon as he called out, the surrounding people went into an uproar. Damn it, this good-for-nothing kid is making an offer. That's crazy. This broken artifact is actually worth 3 million universe dollars. That's not right. With such a high price, could this black bead be some kind of treasure? Treasure my ass. I've seen this black bead a few times before. It has no spirituality at all. What kind of treasure can it be? It's purely because this kid has too much money and nowhere to spend it, so he's showing off here. If you have money, go somewhere else. Why did you come here to bully people? Can't you let people buy things? The group of people gritted their teeth in grief and indignation. They originally wanted to come here to buy treasures, but they didn't expect such a shameless nouveau riche to actually come here to sweep the goods. Hearing this price, some people wanted to buy this black bead at a low price to study it. Perhaps they could find a way to restore the artifact's spirit. However, hearing the price of $3 million universe dollars, they immediately gave up. Spending more than $3 million universe dollars to buy this broken bead, only a crazy person would do such a thing. The people in the VIP rooms didn't make a sound. Their target was the finale item. They didn't care about similar items at all, so they wouldn't compete and waste their money. Alright, $3 million, deal. Supervisor Tan Ming immediately hit the table with his hammer and announced the deal. He was overjoyed. This piece of trash had finally been auctioned off, and at a high price at that. He was instantly grateful to Xia Ping. If not for such a sucker appearing, how could their company earn money? A bunch of paupers dare to compete with me. Today, you can only watch. I want all the items in this auction. Xia Ping was arrogant and full of disdain. He looked down at the audience in the VIP rooms. He expressed his desire to clear out all the items in this auction. All of them. What a yawn from a toad, what a big tone. Damn it, I hate this kind of rich kid the most. Using his family's money to show off. What's so great about him? He just has a good father. Since he wants all of them, let's fulfill his wish. That's right. Why don't we also raise the price and let this kid suffer a great loss? I want to see how much money he can squander. Some people said sinisterly. They wanted to deliberately raise the price to ruthlessly plot against Xia Ping, making him spend a lot of money to buy some things that were not practical at all. The fourth auction item, the low-grade spirit weapon, Dark Cold Sword. Manager Tan Ming quickly auctioned off the fourth item. This sword is extremely powerful. It's suitable for experts who cultivate ice element divine arts. With this sword, it can increase one's attack power by 30%. With one slash, 1,000 miles will be sealed in ice. The starting bid for this sword is 1,300,000 universe credits. Without a doubt, Xia Ping had also made a bid. His first bid was 4 million universe credits, almost tripling the price. 5 million. There was a bald man who didn't want Xia Ping to be the center of attention and wanted to plot against Xia Ping. 6 million. Without hesitation, Xia Ping probed with his divine sense and activated the telepathic heart technique, which had the ability to sense the fluctuations in the hearts of others. It was comparable to the Buddhist divine ability, heart peering. Although he couldn't clearly sense the other party's inner thoughts, he could sense the other party's bottom line. This bald man wanted to plot against him, but he was still far from it. 6,500,000. I will fight to the death with you today. I will let you know that you're not the only rich person in this world. The bald man was aggressive and looked like he wanted to fight to the death with Xia Ping. However, his heart was very sinister. He planned to cheat Xia Ping once and then give up the bidding at any time. Interesting. Then let's see how much money you have to fight with me. 7 million universe credits. Xia Ping raised the price by 500,000 universe credits in one go. He didn't seem to be afraid at all and planned to fight to the death with the other party. 7,500,000. The bald man shouted, not showing any weakness. Xia Ping also followed with an aggressive aura. 8 million. After a few bids, the price had already risen to 10 million universe credits. The surrounding people were scared to death. 10 million universe credits had already exceeded their imagination. It was simply hair-raising. Moreover, this was just an inferior-grade spirit weapon. This price was too exaggerated. The bald man was proud. He had already decided that if Xia Ping continued to bid, he would give up. He had to make this kid spend his money in vain and suffer in silence. 10 million universe credits. You're awesome. Forget it, you win. I'm convinced. However, to the surprise of the bald man, Xia Ping, who was originally aggressive and confident, gave up the bidding. After hearing these words, the bald man was stunned. I won. Yes, you won. You're awesome. You spent 10 million universe credits on an inferior grade spirit weapon. You're indeed rich. I'm not as good as you. Xia Ping expressed his admiration for the bald man. His attitude was very humble. He knew that there was always someone better than him in this world. There was actually someone who was more extravagant than him. He had no choice but to admit defeat. No, it's not like that. I don't want to buy this inferior grade spirit weapon. I want a refund. I want a refund. The bald man's face was pale. He finally knew what a stupid thing he had done. Spending 10 million universe credits on an inferior grade spirit weapon was such a prodigal act. He could buy 5 or 6 inferior grade spirit weapons for the same price. To him, this amount of money was equivalent to breaking his family fortune. It was like a bolt from the blue. Refund? Manager Tan Ming's face turned cold. At the auction site, once the auction is successful, there is no refund. Unless you want to become the enemy of the Cosmic Vast Ocean Auction Company. He was filled with murderous intent. Instantly, the bald man was scared half to death. His whole body was trembling. Offending the Cosmic Vast Ocean Auction Company was not enough even if he had a few lives. I don't have that much money on me. The bald man regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. If he had known this would happen, he would not have fought with this nouveau riche. Not only did he not scam others, but he also scammed himself, causing him to go bankrupt. His entire life was over. Spending 10 million universe credits on an inferior grade spirit weapon. Even a prodigal could not be this wasteful. It's okay. Use your body as collateral and work for our company for 300 years. Naturally, the debt will be paid off. Manager Tan Ming said calmly. No one dared to owe a debt in front of the Cosmic Vast Ocean Auction Company. If they had no money, they would be captured to serve as slaves until the debt was paid off. The bald man was so scared that he fell to the ground. 300 years of unpaid labor. How was this labor? He was basically a slave. Bastard, you tricked me. The bald man roared towards Xia Ping's room. He was furious. At this moment, he hated Xia Ping to the core. So what if I tricked you? Don't tell me you have to treat me to a meal. You want to fight with me when you don't have money? Have you measured yourself first? Xia Ping said with disdain. Bastard, you and I will not live under the same sky. With a pft, the bald man was so angry that he vomited blood. He had a heart attack and fainted on the ground. Chapter 12:25. For the next dozen or so items, Xia Ping also made a move, showing off his wealth. He kept raising the price and auctioning one item after another. If anyone dared to bid against him, he would immediately give up before the other party reached the bottom price. This made many people suffer in silence and spend several times the previous price. Immediately, a group of people was furious at Xia Ping. Damn it, this bastard is a shit stirrer. It's fine if he doesn't get any benefits, but he's making others unhappy. He's definitely a scammer from the Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company. He's raising the price here. How shameless. That shameless slut. I originally wanted to buy a gourd of pills that only cost 150 universe credits. But this guy raised the price and I spent a total of 7 million universe credits to buy it. I'm going to destroy this bastard sooner or later. That's nothing. I want to buy a mid-grade spirit weapon. 10 million universe dollars is more than enough, but this guy raised the price to 40 million universe dollars. This is a huge loss for me. Don't let me see him on the street. Otherwise, he's dead for sure. I'll beat him up. Quite a few people were furious, and they were all grinding their teeth in anger at Xia Ping. If not for the fact that this was the Cosmos Vast Ocean Auction Company, they would probably have rushed up and beaten Xia Ping up. Blocking one's path to wealth was like killing one's parents. Xia Ping raised the price maliciously and spread it everywhere. One could imagine how many people were angry. They even wanted to kill Xia Ping. Investigate. Immediately find out where this kid came from. Tiandu, how dare you come here to swindle my money? This time, I'll make sure you'll have to bear the consequences. This bastard better pray that his background is strong enough. Otherwise, he's dead for sure today. He won't be able to leave Planet Buck. It wasn't just some ordinary martial artists, even some of the big shots in the VIP lounges were tricked by Xia Ping. Their faces were extremely dark. Previously, in order to buy a middle-grade spirit weapon, a precious spirit herb, or a bottle of top-grade medicinal pills, they had spent tens of millions of universe dollars. It was like cutting a piece of flesh from their hearts. This made them want to tear Xia Ping's corpse into 1,000 pieces. A bunch of poor people want to fight with me? They don't even know how to write the word death. Xia Ping was very calm in this situation. He didn't care about these people's anger at all. He was delighted. After the auction was over, he would be able to get a lot of hate points. This time, not only could he auction a lot of treasures at a low price, but he could also get a lot of hate points. This was simply a good thing to kill two birds with one stone. Don't be fooled by his arrogant look. In reality, he had a well-thought-out plan for every auction and knew the other party's base price. So far, he had only spent 100 million universe credits. To his current net worth, it was just a drop in the ocean. Manager Bai Bei was shocked to the core as he watched from the side, and his face had turned green. This kid is so arrogant, and he's even offended so many great figures. I wonder how much trouble he'll cause after the auction ends. And if he stayed by Xia Ping's side, would he also be angered by those big shots? He was filled with regret. If he had known that this brat was such a thorn, he wouldn't have dared to stay in this place even if he was beaten to death. But it was too late now. Okay, the main event is coming. Finally, they came to the middle of the auction. Manager Tan Ming smiled slightly. This time, we're auctioning a holy secret book, Lightning Fist. I'll only say one thing about its power. If you can cultivate Lightning Fist and condense it into a martial Dao magical power, you'll have the invincible power to sweep away your peers. You'll be invincible and even be able to challenge those of a higher level. Suddenly, many people were in an uproar. Especially the elders of the major sects and clans. Their eyes shone brightly. They were determined to get their hands on this Saint-Tier manual. Medicinal pills, spiritual herbs, magic treasures, and so on were just external objects. However, Saint-Tier's secret manuals were the true heritage of a great force. Obtaining one could greatly enrich the strength of a clan and cultivate a steady stream of experts. Even if the holy secret book was not so easy to cultivate, and even if they got it, they might not be able to learn it. But no matter what, these big forces had many disciples, and there would always be a few people who had the talent to cultivate Lightning Fist. Moreover, they might be able to find an opportunity to make a breakthrough from the Lightning Fist. Everyone present knew that the auction so far was just a small event. Now was the real start of the auction. I cultivate a lightning technique, and I happen to need this Lightning Fist to condense a magical power. Once I get it, my strength will definitely increase by several times. Whoever dares to fight with me will die. Qian Shan, the direct descendant of the Qian clan, had a cold glint in his eyes. He was determined to get his hands on this Saint-Tier's secret manual that could increase his strength. He would kill anyone who stood in his way. The starting price is 100 million universe dollars, and each increment must be no less than 10 million universe dollars. The auction begins now. Manager Tan Ming announced the start of the auction. 1 billion. As soon as he said that, Xia Ping immediately shouted and raised the price to 10 times. Fuck his 18 generations of ancestors. A Green Bull sect elder cursed. Hearing this price, he didn't know why he wanted to curse, and he even wanted to kill that bastard. Was there such a bidding? Did he have so much money that he had nowhere to spend it? He actually raised the price to 1 billion universe dollars, and this was just the beginning. If this continued, how terrifying would the price of this holy secret book be? 2 billion or 3 billion? They simply couldn't imagine. Who is this bastard? Which bastard gave birth to him? He doesn't even look when he walks, and he's showing off at the auction. Is there such a prodigal son? The fierce tiger sect elder's face was very dark. For some reason, he really wanted to kill that bastard. 1 billion universe dollars. How can he bid such a price? Does he really have that much money on him? Is he just putting on an act? Did the auction house check his assets? He's pestering us endlessly, trying to cheat us of our money. Has he thought of the consequences? He has offended so many of our sect elders. Will he be able to walk out of Barker Planet today? Many sect elders had ugly expressions. Clearly, such an auction price was beyond their expectations. Qian family's descendant, Qian Shan, emitted a terrifying killing intent. His expression was gloomy, and he immediately ordered his subordinates, immediately convey my intentions to that kid. Tell him to give up bidding and give me, Qian Shan, some face. Give this lightning fist manual to my Qian family, or else he'll be making an enemy of my Qian family. Tell him to reconsider. His words revealed a deep threat. Clearly, he was furious. This Lightning Fist Saint class secret book was related to his future cultivation, so he was determined to get it. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.